Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Good evening and welcome to round 4 of the ANZ Series GT3 National Championship, coming to you from the original home of Formula 1 in the US, hosted to 12 hours of Sebring, and a track that has really cemented, pun absolutely intended there, its place in American racing history, Sebring International Raceway. Located in Florida, it's 17 turns, 6 kilometers. It'll be the main focus for our competitors tonight, with changeable track conditions and multiple surface changes. They'll have to get a handle on track before they can even fight for position tonight. Round 4 tonight kicks off our American leg of the series, and what a series it's been so far. Our European tour was absolutely dominated by Eclipse Sim Sports' Cody Deeth, winning all 3 rings, Nürburgring, Red Bull and Hockenheim, making him the official but unofficial ring specialist. Can he make it 4 rings from 4 tonight at Sebring? See what I did there? Well, only an hour of racing separates Cody Deeth from full ring glory. As we look closely at tonight's racing, it might be worth keeping just a little eye on the weather. There's a high chance of rain coming through for the feature race tonight, so keep an eye on that. So grab a bevy, sit back, kick your feet up and enjoy tonight's racing. It's another Saturday night of racing. I'm your host, Aaron Oversteller. Jay Kennedy is ready to get moist in production, and joining me in the commentary is someone that's no stranger to getting wet, Daniel Yaman. Welcome.
Thank you for your introduction, Aaron. And yeah, maybe a bit clunky with the introduction in some respects, but maybe putting a bit of a ring on it there to cap off the opening part of the season with tonight's racing as well here down in Florida at Sebring International Raceway. And well, yeah, as you pointed out, it's been the Cody Deeth show for the past 3 rounds of the series. He's certainly looking to go 4 from 4 tonight, but going to have some competition, and it might just come from some of his own teammates rather than other drivers. Well, certainly can't count out the people from other teams, but new driver here racing does race with him at times, although it's this season and this event will be racing under a different team and name. Nevertheless, will be one to watch out for nevertheless. Here is our circuit from the Google Earth view, looking down upon it here from the top. And yeah, I mean, look, the fact of the matter is, for me, it's virtually our home of endurance racing and American stuff more than F1. But nevertheless, this circuit has had a long and storied history, which means that there's been plenty of tale told around this airfield, or at least what was once an airfield.
Yeah, it's yeah, you're right. The 17 turns around here. I find it myself personally challenging to race on this track. Turn 1 is unsighted. I've never been able to get that right. All these competitors out there, these are the best of the best when it comes to GT3 drivers, so they should be able to get that right. But getting into a rhythm around this 6-kilometer track is going to be key. And if with a little bit of weather, the great equalizer coming in the feature race, which I can see on the cards right now, but that should shake things up tonight, I'd imagine. So Cody Deeth's got his work cut out for him, I'd imagine.
He probably will, yes, and indeed, yeah, the first time we're expecting to see rain make its appearance thanks to the new iRacing weather system, although it's not so much even an expectation, it's more of a high, very, very high likelihood thanks to a timeline of weather that has been provided to us and everyone for this round. But yeah, speaking of Cody D, this is how it looks with 3 perfect rounds to his name in the championship. That is now over, pardon me if I try and do the numbers back in my head real quick, but clear, a full round and change clear at this stage. There is a drop to take into account later on in the season. The actual number is 340 points clear and with a maximum of 305 per race available. He's certainly looking pretty comfortable up the top here. But it's going to be interesting to see how the battle goes behind him there with Zach Rattray White, less than 40 points off the back of Dylan Burst. They're trying to disrupt that Eclipse Sim Sports 1-2. Jamie Christensen, they're sitting in 4th place. The next of our Vermilion drivers in the standings at this stage with Gianni Lutsu, who will now be our 3rd Vermilion driver in the standings. Just having a look at the list, we do have more drivers here than we did last week with the Easter round for round 3, but I'm not seeing Gianni once again tonight at this stage, Aaron. So unfortunately for Gianni, might be stepping back down the order a little bit. So Jake Maloney did a decent job.
Unfortunately with that,
Yeah, solid results last time out for Jake Maloney once again means that he's bringing that Mercedes up the field. And looking at things tonight, would appear to be the lone charger of the front engine brigade in that case. And back after the top 10, Matthew Dench missed him last week, but I believe he's back here. His teammate Simon Nicholson is here tonight, although maybe not for Dench. Maybe an absence there. Brad Newman did all right last week. He's back again tonight for round 4. Marina Morella have seen the Visceral Esports machine, and Sam Sproul, they're ready at top 10. Close margins in the back half as well. We can see there barely 6 points in it for 9 to 10. Also another 6 between 8 and 9. And then you're barely talking 10 points up to P7. So at those last couple of spots in the 10, hotly contested, if I understand correctly, will be plenty of people just outside the 10, I should say, Aaron, who'll be looking to get in on the action here, at least for the summary, at least of our settings each week.
There's a lot of guys just outside the 10 that will be making an appearance inside the 10 with current results. I think we got a couple of guys just outside there. I'll just mention we got Jacob O'Reilly is in P13, I think, at the moment. Look out for him. He's made up, I forget how many spots he made up, but a heap of spots to get up into P13. And Lachlan Capel as well. Look out for him tonight out there as well. And I think we got Lewis Greathead. He's had a pretty shocking opening rounds, but he's definitely got the pace to get up there into the top 10. So look out for those guys.
Indeed, a couple of drivers who had some rough starts to the season that were able to make better racing of it in the last, round 3 last week, but also round 2 at the Red Bull Ring as well. And we're seeing how everybody handles themselves here tonight on the asphalt. And it's not asphalt, it's mostly concrete. That is obviously the defining feature here at Sebring. If you haven't been with us here before for the GT3 National Championship provided by ANZ Series, we've got ourselves fixed car setups thanks to high-mo setups for this one here. Currently in the middle of group qualifying as well to get the grid ready for race number 1, the opening sprint of 15 minutes. And then during that 45-minute feature, pit stop light needed for fuel. The million-dollar question of will they be able to make it to a crossover point when we're expecting the rain in the second half of that race to cap the night off with a tyre change. That won't usually be necessary, Aaron, but looks like it certainly will be tonight as we can now bring you the feed from qualifying here as the drivers get themselves laps on the board and try and get as far up the order as they can.
Yeah, you're right. With that rain coming in, it's not a definite, but it's definitely a definite, if that makes sense for everyone watching at home. There should be some rain expected for the last part of the feature race. So yeah, timing your run perfectly and getting those wets on when you see the first drop of rain or when you see the clouds gathering might be the difference between winning and losing here tonight. This first leg that we got ahead of here in qualifying, I just want to make point out to you guys. Damon Woods is out there, and he has set an absolute blistering time. A 1:59.415 on the top there is going to be very, very hard to beat. We had some practice earlier. I think we saw a 1:59.3, but I don't think anyone replicated that again. So look out for that time to probably stand up there in the top 3 at least as we go through tonight. But we got Eddie Beswick there as one of his I think Damon Woods' teammate possibly in the Eclipse team. He's come out of nowhere, to be honest. He's that's a pretty good time as well. The 2-minute 1. I know that in practice, I'm pretty sure he's doing the high 59. So look out for those guys. But yeah, this track just gives you everything you want in in racing. As we see Damon Woods just taking the slow road there. I don't know what he's trying to do here. He's trying to
It's a giant game of chicken, Aaron, is what we've got going on here.
Yeah.
No one wants to lead the draft train for another flying lap, and everyone certainly, if they can hitch a ride on the back of Damon Woods' wagon, that's certainly an advantage worth taking. Here tonight in his Esports colours as the European-based team that Damon does race with for iRacing special events and other major competitions and the like. But as you said, it does also work with the guys at Eclipse Sim Sports a fair bit for small level events or Australian time zone events. So there is a relationship there that, whilst the paint schemes won't tell it necessarily, they do have a partnership, friendship, relationship that extends off the track and on the track as well. So we'd expect to see Damon in and around the guys at Eclipse and the fast guys at Eclipse too, who can ride with him at this stage. Because we've seen Cody Deeth be quick, but certainly Damon is probably the one to watch out for to suddenly really be the one that can test here. Is he going to abandon that qualifying lap? Jacob Todd going to have to swing around him here. And Jacob, one of our drivers, moving over from Altus Australia to Vermilion Esports for the foreseeable future, and as part of the new sign-ups and acquisitions. A bit of a rough week out for the new Vermilion guys and those in Vermilion in general at the Hockenheim ring last week, Aaron, unfortunately, but they'll be looking to bounce back now with a couple more to their name here to try and get started.
See a bit of a replay there, which was fun to watch. And yeah, turn 1. Actually, it was just after turn 1 of that opening race. Was I couldn't unpack it. I watched it about 4 times and couldn't unpack it. So I don't want to be race control in those situations. And around here, actually, turn 1 here can be pretty devastating. It does narrow in as you go into turn 2 at Sebring. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we get a good opening 15-minute race, and we can see them push really hard into the feature.
Yep, that will certainly be ideal, to say the least, but we'll see how they've got to get through everything here and show us how they'll go. On board once again with Todd to see him finish off the lap here in his Ferrari 296. So looking to improve on a 2-minute .248. The prediction there at the bottom of the screen, though, says he's going to be a tiny bit short of improving here as he comes around Sunset Bend to complete the lap. And this might just be off by a tenth or two, unfortunately, but looks like he's in a position to keep going at least. We'll see. Is the prediction solid? It is pretty good, and indeed just a little shy of his best in the session so far. Tenth and a half off there and a little bit of extra change. So not too bad, just needs to find a little bit more, it seems, to be able to get that one in. Check back in with him later in this session, though. These drivers are running out of time here tonight, mind you. I believe they'll go through to another only 3 or 4 minutes left in this one before they'll be called checkered flag, and we'll get ready to switch over to the second half of our qualifying drivers who are here based on their championship standings positions.
Just looking at Damon Woods on his lap at the moment, he's going through down to the hairpin now. I think he's got one of his or friends or teammates in front of him as he's coming down to the hairpin. He's on for a pretty good lap. We'll have to come back to it in about a minute time when he comes through. But that, I've got him predicted for a 1:59.3. So if he can do that, that's going to be really hard to beat. The guys, I've got to put a mention out. Chewy Kang keeps on turning up. He's in the Vermilion Ferrari at the moment. He did give me a bit of a heads up saying I have done no wet weather racing in this car yet and not around this track. So don't really want to be him at the moment in the feature race, in the last 15 minutes of a feature race anyway.
Yeah, we'll see how he goes later on tonight as Matthew Boyle across the line has abandoned that run at some point to get ready to go again and set up for a proper fly here as we'll check in a few more drivers such as Chu Kang. Now that he's on the back straightaway here, the Ullman Straight heading into Sunset Bend. We'll see here looking at around a 2-minute 2.6, which unfortunately is not an improvement. So again, another driver looks to be either had abandoned the lap or at least just setting up for a new one here to get this one on the board. I wouldn't be too surprised if we're about a minute or two away from at least a warning, if not the checkered flag, as Woods up the inside of one of the 9.5 Sim Sports cars. It's Simon Chadwick in behind. He is actually slightly up, according to my timing here, on his previous best in the session. Oh, so close. Unfortunately, it will not be an improvement by all of 3/100ths of a second, Aaron.
Yeah, he was actually on for a lap there. I don't know if he got hindered there on that back straight, but yeah, it's that 1:59.4. I'm telling you, that is a very, very solid effort as he comes in here. And I'm just looking forward to seeing where that stacks up when the second part of qualifying comes out. Hayden Sell as well. He's out on track at the moment. He's on for a... Oh, I think he's just on his outlap, actually. I went to the wrong guy. I was talking about Caleb Highs. And he's just did a 2-minute flat. Put him up into P2. Pretty good lap. He split those boys. He split Eddie and Damon going into P2 there. I think if you wanted to get into the top 5 here, I think 159 is going to be required. And we've got one person into the 159s at the moment. Massive gap separating Woods from the rest of the field here at the moment. So definitely quality coming out from him at the moment. As we move down the field, I just want to see if anyone hasn't done a lap yet. And I think everyone out there has gone on.
I'm seeing it. Yeah, everyone out there's got a time on the board already.
Yeah, so that's... Sebring's pretty lenient. I mean, there's not that many off tracks you can get around here. You can clip the wall on the on some of the exits and stuff like that, and some on turn 1 entry as well. But it's pretty neat to do a lap around here. I'm just glad it's not in the wet as they're doing this. The racing tonight's going to be fantastic and very, very close. If you look at the times between everyone that got out there at the moment, there's nothing in it. So we're going to have a bit of a train going in the first race, 15 minutes. Probably only 7 laps, to be honest, depending on safety cars and all the above. Yeah,
it will be a short race. We might sneak an 8th lap in, depending on how our front runners go, if they're fighting or if they're just trying to run a train for a bit here, as the checkered flag flies from race control with 19 minutes left in the session. And it's now time to see who gets a lap in. The 43 of Dylan Shepherd gets across the line. Unfortunately, no improvement for the Blackout OPR machine. We focus in here on Simon Chadwick, looking to go better than P10 at this stage. Well, that's a bit slow through Sunset. He looks to have abandoned that run, and indeed will test a pit lane entry. So he is done. Hayden Sell, next to our 9.5 drivers in Q1, brings it round Sunset in one of our Audi R8s. But dives into the pit lane as well. So it looks like everyone just about done. Thomas Hinds as well in. And I do believe, well, there's 3 cars out the other side of the circuit. One of them is Caleb Hides. And he might be on one here, because the last lap he did in the session was invalidated. So let's right here and indeed look at our predicted lap. It says that he's on for a sub 2-minute time. Won't challenge Damon Woods for that provisional pole position, but it certainly will mean that he'll be a little bit more protected. But through the couple of corners here at Gendarmerie and Le Mans, looks like he might have just lost a couple of hundredths, and he aborts the lap.
Well, that's it for the first leg of our qualifying. And now the boys come out for a bit of a play out there. We see who's out the front of that little group there. Is that the number 17 and the number 3? So Cody Deeth is probably going to try and get out front here. Who's in the number 17? I'm just trying to work out who that is.
It's Zach Rattray White.
Right, Zach Rattray White. How good is it?
We do have ourselves a bit of a conundrum, because we've been heard over the radio that Race Control is expecting a single file formation here at pit exit. I think Rattray White's just decided, yep, he's abandoned his position in the queue. He will wait to line up at the back here. Same will Jamie Christensen. So, drivers here looking to get out of their pit boxes, but they've been told they need to hold for a second. As the green flag flies, 17 minutes to go. So out they will roll. So it will be the Eclipse drivers of Cody Deeth and Dylan Burst to lead the train out. Hopefully you guys won't get tired of us talking about the guys in Eclipse, because, yeah, they're certainly still the ones that seems to beat. Although, of course, with Dane Woods here not officially racing for them, we can, I guess, throw the Esports name into the mix. But now, here come our heavy hitters, top drivers in the championship so far after the opening 3 rounds. Aaron rolling out onto the circuit. time to see how much faster than if we can go faster than a 59.4. That will be tough to beat, but you never know around here at Sebring.
Yeah, around here at Sebring, I think track position is absolute key. We saw those guys lining up at the pit exit, trying to get that little bit up the front there, just to get some track position, not get caught up behind any cars. So poor Zach Rattray White had to abandon what he was about to do there. I'd have to look at the replay and see who actually got to the front line first. But yeah, single file as they go out, just getting temperature into the tyres. There's so many differences in the track. So between turn 3 and 4, I think there's like 7 different bits of concrete between there and there. So you've got to find your braking positions. It's very, very bumpy. So yeah, getting the car, getting the tyres turned on, getting yourself some track position around here. It's a long track, but you still got to find some track position and putting on a light. And already we've got the lights on. It's starting to get a little bit dark here already in qualifying. The feature race that's about 20 minutes away is going to be, about 30 minutes away is going to be very dark for us. Hopefully we've got some sort of lights out there.
Well, there is some lighting around the circuit. We also do have, almost I guess, remnant of the history of the circuit once being an airfield, do have reflectors around the edge of the circuit in several parts. So the lighting, though, is fairly restricted to basically our front straightaway. So yes, there will be parts of this track that when the sun properly drops and we run out of the simulated ambient light, that is, we'll be mostly reliant on the headlights of these cars. We can see here Cody Deeth is running the full lighting package on his Lamborghini Huracan tonight, so that will give us a chance to hopefully be able to get a good look forward from him. But of course, when they're in the pack, and given again they should be fairly well packed up, given the generally the pace of the field here in this series, that will mean be quite a bit of illumination for everyone with headlights in behind, helping light the way forward.
Just going back through the pack here, I've got Brad Newman. He's right in the pack there. I'm just trying to work out where he is at the moment. He's sort of he's on for a lap, and they've got the first bit of it right. That turn 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 complex as you come down into the hairpin really sets up your lap, and the rest is pretty flowing after that. So if you can nail sector 1, which most of these guys have already done, it seems like they're just going single file. Deeth is just checked out actually in qualifying. He's been given a lot of room. His teammate behind him, which was I think that was Dylan Burst behind him, is a fair way behind him now. Not going to get any tow or anything from his teammate. So we'll see what he comes through. Cody Deeth does for the first one. We're going into whereabouts are they on track right now? They're going into the back straight right now.
Yep.
Yeah, back straight. And coming up to turn 17, we'll see what the first times are going to be. Cody Deeth's looking pretty competitive. There's no one else out there. I'm looking at times at the moment. Maybe a Jamie Christensen could spoil the party here as well. He's right down the back of the pack right now, but he's got a little bit of room around him, and he's in a little bit of a slipstream behind at the moment. So watch out for him. But let's watch Cody Deeth come across the line with a 1:59.5, so that's going to put him up into P2 on his opening lap. So that will only get quicker as the night goes on and the temperature falls a little bit, I'd imagine.
It's certainly a possibility there's some more speed in that Eclipse Lamborghini, but yeah, do not be too shocked. Damien Woods still sits atop the tree as drivers bring their laptops across. As Stuart Ellis has abandoned straight into a tyre bundle in the 73 Dynamic Sim Sports car. Dylan Burst opting to abandon his first chance at a flyer. Maybe use that as 2 warm-up laps before he gets back into it in the 68 Audi. But yeah, Woods now still on top from Deeth. Nicholson joins them inside the 159s for qualifying at this stage. Caleb Hydes, still from Group 1, is staying up towards the top. And then it's Christensen there, P5, and Marino Morello just behind him on the timesheets in P6 as we watch him head up towards Cunningham Corner now, leading the majority of the train that decided to stay out and keep pressing on. A few cars have peeled in, but everyone else still going here as they make their way around the back half of the circuit.
A lot of cars actually went past the start-finish line, pulled over, did a quick little reset, and then went back out again. I don't know if that's a strategy or not. I'm not sure, but you'd think you'd want less fuel in the tank. Come in for some fresh tyres might be a better alternative. You got 15 minutes out there, so a little bit weird to see a lot of guys come into the pits there.
Let's see here. Nicholson definitely came into the pits. Burst came into the pits. Burst status. It was Deeth, Nicholson. But Nicholson actually is actually reset again on that one. So drivers again in different strategies. The tyres here in the GT3 cars, they could theoretically provide a second lap at speed. But with these guys here right at the top of the order, they might be working it, can be working it hard enough that they would potentially see a little bit of a drop-off. As we're going to watch here for Morella's lap time as he comes around the corner. It says here Dylan Burst elsewhere on circuit is looking to put a bit of a barnstormer in, as Morella's going to go to a 2-minute, not quite, 2-minute .1. I think he improved, but Lachlan Capel will jump up into the top 5, make it P4, make a next driver who gets inside. Dylan Burst also looking to go to a 59, but that's awfully close to the apex wall at Sunset.
Wow.
Has he hurt his lap with that one? He's going to commit anyways here in the number 68. 2-minute .0. And it did count. P6 for him.
And again, another driver that does their lap, jumps out, goes back to the pits. It's well, these guys know more than what we know. I don't know if there's a qualifying set that they're on at the moment, but yeah, a lot of cars coming out. Yeah, look at the congestion as they come out of the pits, and they still got about 9 minutes left of qualifying here, maybe 8 minutes left of qualifying, so plenty of time to get laps in. But obviously, yeah, one lap dash for these tyres.
Yeah, they're working these cars as hard as they can, and yeah, they certainly probably could afford to burn off some fuel, but nevertheless, better to just get straight back out there on a fresh set of tyres. And for some of these cars, a little bit of extra fuel might help with a bit of stability, and depending on where the fuel tank is, a bit of extra weight over the front or rear axle as well to help give it a bit more squat. We are talking at this point tenths of a millimetre, but
exactly right.
Certainly it could make a little bit of variation there. So Wood's still on top. Deeth just a tenth away though in that Lamborghini. The Audi Lamborghini cousins though nevertheless looking strong once again. Rattray White jumped up to P3 in all of the hullabaloo with drivers like Capel and Burst. So the first of our Ferraris there, and also making it now 5 cars with a time in the 159s at this stage. We've got Nicholson in all of this here, our first Porsche. As we're going to look here at a replay, first of a replay of the night, and that's Dylan Burst. Oh, from the other angle that we saw, Aaron, I'm pretty certain I saw some sparks. That's about perfect, although unfortunately,
it was
given
about
the way,
perfect. You're right. Yeah.
About the way it was predicting a 159.6 before he came into Sunset Bend, so maybe a bit of time to be gained through a more optimal line through the corner as well.
Cody's on an absolute lap here if you want to jump to him. He's coming through. Oh no, sorry, I apologise. Oh no, he's coming onto the start-finish straight now. It's looking good. It's a 159.306. That's the fastest I've seen. 307, I should say, of the night. There was a bit of in the practice, I saw a 159.315, and that's actually eclipsed that. So Cody Deeth showing what he's made of. He probably just parked that now, to be honest.
Yeah, he might. It's certainly Damien Woods was going to be the one that would challenge, and I was almost expecting it might be Damien Woods, who still ended up on top tonight, but looks like as things go, they certainly have. Yeah, the number on the field, half a second back to Zach Rattray White from Deeth's time, first to third. Moving the marker well forward in that case. But watching here, Seth Brown, who's yet to get a competitive time on the board. He's only got a 2:06 to his name at this stage, so going to go into the 2-minute .1 for him. He'll launch himself up from 27th to 11th with that one there.
Yeah, well done, Seth. That was a really good lap from him. He's been, I don't know, he's been caught up in traffic possibly. He's done some 203s and 202s, and that one just shot him up the grid. So he's still got a bit of time. He might go on with it here and have a dig, or he might, like most of the grid, might just pull that thing over and get the crane to take it back. I'm just looking, seeing who we're on. Lachlan Capel. Oh, Simon Nicholson just did a 159.7. Really fast lap time from the Porsche. So we've got Lamborghini, Audi, Porsche, and Ferrari at top 4. And Simon Nicholson just jumped straight up with 159.7 into P3. That's a great result.
Indeed, just eking out the 17 at this stage. Although it looks like Rattray White is looking to fire back. We'll probably have to go to him once Lachlan Capel is finished with this one, because Capel is looking to make some improvements as well on his time. Go into a slightly lower 159. No, he abandons the lap. So that, unfortunately, will be the end of that one there. Rattray White looks to have unfortunately just dropped a bit of pace since I last saw him as he comes up through Tower Turn, and it is now properly dark here at Sebring. Headlights are essential for making your way around this place. All right, then Ryan Houlihan, another driver who's yet to get a competitive time on the board, 2:01.0. And he has indeed jumped up to Q3. No.
Dylan Burst just went, look at the times. There's nothing in it between Dylan Burst and Nicholson there. And he just jumped up. He came out of nowhere. I was just looking at the times, and he just snuck that one in.
Sticks the landing pretty nicely there. Just over 4/10 off of his teammate's time in Cody Death. Simon Cox, meanwhile, P13 at this stage. Best time of a 2:02, sorry. Looking to try and go faster than that, but looks like Sector 1 has not been too kind to him at this stage. What he does have, though, is a bit of slipstream in the form of the 606 of Samuel Sproul in front of him here as Cox gets it pulled up. Sproul abandons the lap there at the exit of the hairpin as we make our way across this back section of the circuit. A bit more speed available through here compared to Sector 1. Sector 1 is pretty fast into a complex and then build up some speed again to the hairpin as Lock and Cape will get out of the way through Cunningham Corner, and Cox will continue on his merry way, although still hovering a couple of tenths off his best that he's done in the session so far.
Yeah, he's probably just a little bit of, he's going to have a really good run down this little back stretch, down into the tower if he can try to improve. He's got no slipstream to hold on to there, so he might get enough time to have another lap. I reckon they've got enough time for maybe 1.5 more laps. The times here are ridiculous. We've got 1 second covering 27 drivers. These guys have all come here to play. I'm a bit surprised. Jake Maloney has joined the session but hasn't set a lap or gone out onto track yet at the moment. So not sure what's going on with the Mercedes AMG at the moment. He's the only. We saw him in practice, but we haven't seen him do any laps. So he might be starting from the back tonight.
Well, he did practically the same thing last week at the Hockenheim ring. Was quite late to the session actually before he got on the set of time. So it looks like it's a case of Jake basically cutting it razor thin on his available margins here. So you might get a chance to see that 29 Mercedes out for a lap in qualification. No, we won't, because we're inside the window where you can come out of the pits and then get a flying lap. Duns of everyone out on track now. This is it. You've got another minute and 40 seconds to get around to the start-finish line to start your final flyer. So everyone here is on notice. Stuart Ellis will be able to get this lap in, plus one more if the tyres are up for it here. Looking at a mid-2-minute time for the 73. Current best of a 2:04. So he's going to need to find a couple of tenths to improve on P21 at this stage. He's got not long left in this lap to decide to commit or maybe abort, try and cool things off and go again.
Yeah, I don't think there's... Yeah, that's going to be cutting it fine if he does that. Such a good shot here of on board. You're right. Those little indicators on the side of the track are pretty much all you got to guide yourself through here as the as darkness falls as we go into the our first race in about 5 minutes. I just don't know. The unknown for me is how dark it's going to be behind the car with the rain when you're trying to put a lap on here. Stuart Ellis is about to come across the line for a 2-minute something, a 2:05. It doesn't do anything for his time. He sits where he is in 21st position. That's crazy. He's done a 2:04 and he's down in 21st position. This field is super strong tonight. They've all done their practice. They've all eaten their Wheaties, and they're here to show off. I think Adam Hughes just had a massive jump up. Yeah, just then he's gone up into P8 with a 2-minute flat. It puts him in good company around Jamie Christensen, Lachlan Capel, and Caleb Hyes up there as well. Jacob O'Reilly's knocking on the door of those guys as well. That little chunk between P5 and probably P15. That's where my eyes are going to be glued tonight for sure. Some good racing going to come out of these guys.
Let's see here as the clock strikes 2 minutes to go. Capel will equal burst to 3 decimal places and get ahead. So he's faster on 4 here tonight. And he got across the line just in time that if the tyres have got anything left, he could have gone for one more. But the number 8 ERT Porsche has come to the pit lane. Cody Death was on potentially to improve his time, not by much, but by a little something here as he comes up to the flag.
Oh, he did too.
No, it is off by just a couple of hundredths. 59.322. Unfortunately, can't quite beat the 59.307, but that is a reminder of just what he's got in store for us here tonight. Everyone that's coming around the corner now is out, so it's time to start focusing on drivers as they come up to the line. Jamie Christensen here at Tower Turn, flirting with the track limits there on the exit of the corner as he puts the foot down and carries on, looking to beat and crack that 2-minute barrier and join our top 6 drivers who are in there at this stage. Got a couple of corners left to see if he can make it work here for him. And I'm going to keep an eye on Stuart Ellis. What's he got for us here? Unfortunately, looks like 73. He's coming around the last corner now. Not going to improve on his time tonight, so it looks like he's going to be back in the 20s. Yep, hasn't improved there for him. So up next, the 95 of Adam Hughes is on track.
On to Morello as well. Morello, I was just watching his first couple of sectors. He's lightning at the moment. We've got Jamie Christian coming across the line now. Will he improve? It's going to be close. He's come across the line with a 159.8, and that should. Did that move him up the ladder?
Sure did. Yeah,
oh, it certainly did.
Yeah, he's jumped a couple of spots only, but to P7 and 7 cars inside. Simon Cox, unfortunately, no improvement for him. Can Marino Morel even make the finish line? No, he's going to miss out by a couple of seconds.
Oh,
and then he'll cross the line, and it won't count. So unfortunately, that is it there for qualifying and the end of the session. 28 drivers will take to the grid, we hope, for this opening race of the night. In just a moment's time, we'll bring you the grid here for this opening race, the 4th round, the ANZ Series GT3 National Championship. It has gotten even darker out now. It is 100% lit by lights. None of the ambient sky left for us to work with here tonight. As we are going to bring that grid now on screen. Cody Deeth been able to clean sweep everything so far. Does it again. We'll pick up the 5 bonus points for pole position here, Aaron, but he's going to have Damien Woods to contend with on his outside in the Esports number 56. Audi Lachlan Capel going out of P3 tonight. Good signs from the ERT Porsche to kick things off. He's going to share the second row with Dylan Burse, the 68 for Eclipse Sim Sports. Simon Mickelson, the next of our Porsches, back after a bit of an absence in the team PGZ Porsche tonight, sharing row 3 with Zach Rattray White, first of our Vermilion machines and the first Ferrari on the grid this evening. Jamie Christensen and Adam Hughes going to start at a 7th and 8th, respectively, for Vermilion and Chris Cross Racing. About half a second off of pole time. Caleb Hyde, Jacob O'Reilly going to round out our top 10 here for Eclipse and Vermilion. And with that, I'll hand to you for the next 10 here, Aaron, as we work our way down the order.
Yeah, we're watching Morello try and crack that top 10 just earlier, but he starts in P11 for Visceral Esports. He's alongside Zachary Smith in the Alpha Venturi Racing, but nothing between those guys. Eddie Beswick, I saw him in practice. He was putting on some massive laps and fighting with his teammates. So he starts out of P13. Seth Brown out of P14. Thomas Hinds, Simon Cox, 15 and 16th. Look at the times, guys. There's nothing in it. As we go back through the field, Jacob Todd in the Doing OK Vermilion Motorsports livery, and Dylan Shepherd in the Blackout OPR on row 9 of the grid. We go back to Brad Newman. By his standards, probably doesn't want to be back in P19, but he'll work his way through tonight. Matthew Boylett in the Dynamic Sim Speed Sports team in P20, rounding out our top 20. Stuart Ellis in P21 as Dynamic Sim Sports, alongside Simon Sproul in the Blackout OPR, looking really nice and racy at the back there. Hayden Sell in the 9.5 Sim Sports entry. Chewy Kang, we've chatted with him earlier, and he's not looking forward to the rain, so we'll see how he goes. As we move down the grid, I think we got a couple more grid spots. We've got Ryan Houlihan, very racy in P25. P26 is Simon Chadwick. As we move down, I'm pretty sure we're going to see, yes, we are, Nathan Gardner, the privateer, alongside Jake Maloney. Now, we started from the back last race, and we'll see what he can do now. He made himself up into, I think, P5 or 6, so we'll look for him as a hard charger to go through the field. He's definitely got the talent. Let's see if he can put it through tonight.
Indeed, keeping his nose clean has been a bit of a specialty of Maloney's as we get ready for the full-length formation lap here with the iRacing pace car going to lead us off. It is looking all dry for the time being here for this opening sprint. We're expecting the rain to come in about an hour's virtual time. So expect with a bit of an advance, potentially between sessions, as well as just the length of the session. This will be critical, though, as to whether we see the rain start early or whether it'll come later in that session, because we are supposedly working off a bit of a timeline when it comes to things here tonight, and we are already inside an hour of the expected rain arrival. So that's going to be important to note here as to how long into that race it'll be, because the critical thing is here, with the fixed high mode setup, looking at about a half an hour on a tank of fuel. That is the important thing to keep in mind tonight. You've got to be able to get to the window, of course, where the rain's coming down hard enough that you're going to get a benefit from not having to make it basically do 2 stops, 1 for fuel, 1 for tyres. That would be strategic suicide here in this field, unless safety cars suddenly come to your hand. As the drivers preparing themselves to get this race underway here tonight, and this will be definitely one to watch. Damon Wood's been our closest contender so far, on pace it seems, to Cody Death. But can other drivers play spoiler?
I'm actually looking forward to this little battle at the front. The Cody Death and Damon Woods battle is going to be fantastic. We've got some battles down the pack. We got that, like I said, that P5 down to P15. There'd be no way to pick it. Any of those guys could make it up into the top 5. And we got also the hard charging Jake Maloney that I mentioned before. I'm going to keep one eye on him anyway during this race. I think he's going to make up a lot of positions. He's playing a little bit coy, I reckon, at the back there, because I know he's got pace.
He does. Yeah, it just would almost be nice to see what he could do if he lets the Mercedes loose for a qualifying lap in many respects, to see what it actually can do in a one-lap showdown, because making your way cleanly through a pack is one thing, but being able to deliver on that pace from the front without having to start at a disadvantage is another. But nevertheless, that'll be something to worry about later. We've got this lovely shot here on the exit of Tower Turn to enjoy across the course of your action this evening, as there's our entire field now on their way up towards Gendabine and Le Mans. Drivers getting ready to settle in. 15-minute sprint isn't much, but we've certainly seen it make a major impact on the outcome of the evening, of course, given that the grid is progressive between our sprint and our feature. So, looking forward to seeing
how 100 points too.
100
points. 15 minutes, 100 points. It's make or break. You see guys racing hard. That you need to race hard to race to the grid for that feature race later tonight.
It is important to note there, actually, and interesting to hear indeed, because it means that the feature race is 3 times the length at 45 minutes. Only worth double the points, though. Certainly still very important, nevertheless, to maximise your positions in that one there, if something does go a bit off here in the sprint, whatever you want to call this opening one, the heat, the sprint, race 1, I guess. Take your pick.
Yeah.
But
race
got our choices here. True indeed, that certainly works out as well. The iRacing pace car about to peel off to your left of screen here as Barney on the stand, waiting with the green in hand. Cody Death going to put the hammer down under the Advanced Auto Parts side. Round 4 of the ANZ Series GT3 National Championship is underway as we go 3 wide, cross the line in the middle of this pack, and coming up in turn 1, who's going to come out the other side in front as one of the Eclipse cars diving further on back, but bails out of that one was Caleb Hydes, trying to get something done early, but he gets tight on the inside and makes everyone gets through in one piece at turn 1.
I can't believe that they all got through that turn 1. I'm going to hold my breath just a little bit as they come through this little tight little sector into turn 4 and 5 as they make their way down to the hairpin. Wow, great racing from the whole field here. Seth Brown has been in the thick of it there, but he's held position. Thomas Hinds as well at the back there in P14. So everyone seems to have held position as they've gone into the hairpin. Just keeping an eye on people at the moment at the back. Wow. Everyone's brought their racing brains. There's no hotheads out there at the moment at all.
It looks like clean engagement is the name of the game, and the field already making their way out to Cunningham Corner for the first time, but a side-by-side further on back. There's a Stuart Ellis around on the apex of Cunningham Corner in the 73. And that, unfortunately, is going to make for a right nightmare of his night now as he tumbles to the back of the train. I think mostly undamaged, but we'll have to see if we can figure out what's happened to him in this stage. You see our leaders starting to string out a little bit, down to Gendabine and Le Mans for the first time. It's Deeth from Woods with the lead race start in the hands of the race leader. It looks like not too many orders between the teammates. Well, sort of teammates. Not officially. There's another one of the Audis in the background, all kinds of out of shape. Would that have been Caleb Hydes? Might have been. That position looks about right for where he was.
Ryan Houlihan. Actually, if we get to Ryan Houlihan at the moment, that car's facing the wrong way. Well, was anyway. He's gone to the back of the grid as well in the 999 Porsche 911 machine. I don't know exactly what happened there. I was just looking at what happened to Stuart Ellis. I think he did it on the brakes himself. Got into the back of Brad Newman, I think, and sort of put him into the infield without taking anyone out. So thanks to you, Stuart Ellis, for some good racing there. But Ryan Houlihan, he could come into. Who's that coming into the pits?
That was Nathan Garner at the back of the field. Unfortunately, has had a moment through Sunset Bend, and the left rear corner is damaged, and also substantially. Oh, this is really unfortunate. Another driver solo incident. The rear end gets loose in one of these Audi GT3s, and he's fired across into the tyre bundles on the exit there. So gets the car fixed up and back out on track now, but way off the back of the field as they're all heading up into the hairpin or even further out at this stage. In fact, speaking of triple ones, Houlihan, big trouble for him for lap 1, unfortunately. There actually missed what happened to him.
The fight up here, I don't know where we're at the moment, what the camera's on at the moment, but the Jacob O'Reilly, Caleb Hydes, Marino Morella, Eddie Beswick, Thomas Hiddens are all in this little battle for P9 at the moment. I'm just waiting to see who blinks first and who's going to do a massive dive as they come down this little back section down here to the tower to go up the main straight. And whoever gets a good run onto the back straight here is probably going to get the pick of the line they want to go through into turn 17 back onto the main straight. But these guys, there's nothing between them. Absolutely nothing between them. Those doing okay cars in the Vermilion colour, they look fantastic. I haven't really had a good look at them at the moment. Even under lights, they look really cool. And at the front, I thought Damon Woods would take it to Cody Deeth. Unfortunately, Cody Deeth obviously had another gear in that Lamborghini Hurricane. Damon Woods is sort of just drifting to the back there with Bill Burse staying behind. Damon Woods on heels at the moment.
Oh, there's been trouble live as well.
Yes,
as we're seeing on the bottom of the screen, the replay from lap 1 for Ryan Houlihan, and unfortunately it's now the second of the Alpha Venturi Porsches in the hands of Zachary Smith. Exeter Sunset Bend has, unfortunately, and it's been contact from the behind, from the 606 of Sam Sproul. We're going to have to grab that one on replay, I think, as well, and focus on that here at the end of lap number 2, unfortunately. So into the corner they come. Smith running a tighter middle line on the road. Sproul just carries more corner speed with around the outside, and unfortunately to the tyre bundles will go the second of the AVR cars. They have had some rough nights in this series so far, and not necessarily all of their own making. That there was definitely another one. But back live we go, and we're looking at the fight between Zach Rattray White and Simon Nicholson. Rattray White stolen the spot off of the 08 PGZ Porsche so far in this one, but Nicholson wants it back, and he's going to go the outside of Cunningham to be able to take that one away if he can finish the job. I think he had. Nope, Rattray White's still there. Side by side the tower we come. As Nicholson tries to shut the door, he does, and gets away with it with contact on the nose of the Ferrari, getting it loose rather than spinning the Porsche around. My goodness, that was certainly close to call.
How good is it, the racing there? They went through half that lap side by side. That was excellent racing for both of them. Got a little bit tangled up, but luckily to both of them, they can still fight on. Zach lost a couple of positions, but he already stole that position of Nicholson earlier. So Adam Hughes was the big beneficiary out of that. Went up into P6. Let's see if he can hang on to it for the next 9 minutes of racing.
Yeah, once again, Ferrari's looking powerful in a straight line. It is Jake O'Reilly that's going to take first stab at him, and up the inside he goes. And in fact, by me is Rattray White getting, hang on, saying, apologies, my thing is not sorting quite right. And so
I hate when my thing's not working properly.
Yeah, it's meant to be updating as they so Hughes is going to lose that spot to Oh, I see. It doesn't actually change position. It doesn't change the order based on the class position goes. I've got to fix. I've got to change what's visible there. So that's what that is, and get that sorted out for you here. But indeed, not sure why. Back in front of Adam Hughes is now Jake O'Reilly, who will take Christensen. Sorry, Jamie Christensen is there. The next of the Vermilion Esports cars. It's O'Reilly in the first of the Vermilion Motorsports cars in behind there. So that is what's finally finished getting me tripping up. And if that in doubt, I should always just look at the tower. Oh, you really don't want to. That's me on a bit of a roll and not in a great ways. There's the attempt, well, the pass back from Racho White. Dive up the inside. What I'm saying
that was pass of the series so far. That was up the inside, and then he held onto it, put the car in the right position as he comes down here into turn 1. Thanks to Burley Motor Group replay, because that was really cool to see on the replay. It's interesting around this track. You can't just do the pass. You need to get the pass done, put your car in the right position, maybe 2 more corners from there, get the actual pass completed, and then continue with the racing. And these guys are so close racing between them all. So Zach's going to try and get to the back of Nicholson again to have another dig.
Being told there's something for me to have a look at. Indeed, we bring up the live weather radar, and it's just starting to approach from, if I believe the map is northern oriented, it's coming from the southeast. So I actually need to know where my orientation's here at Sebring. Let me get some information for you here in the background, Aaron. I'll tell you where that rain is coming from relative to the circuit, because the circuit is zoomed out to the point it's just a black dot on our radar map here. A track map with a compass on screen, and I'll find out where that rain will come from first.
I'm going to say that is we're looking from the southeast. That's where that weather's coming from. We're in Florida. It's pretty hot here, so I'd imagine that's where the weather's going to come from the ocean, from the Pacific. So, Jamie Christensen just got the move done on Hughes, I think.
Not done yet.
Still locked in battle. No, he's going to have to give up on this. He might be able to get it done at the hairpin, but he might get blocked off. And then who's going to jump through? Is Jacob O'Reilly's going to have a massive dig here as well, and he is. He's coming down the inside. Oh, and thought better of it. And the 92, Caleb Hydes, is there to pounce on these guys as well. You make a mistake here, and you'll go back to P20 or P nowhere if you make a small mistake trying to overtake here. But the battle here between Adam Hughes and Christensen is heating up. And Zachary Retro White just up ahead there is not gaining on Nicholson at the moment, so he might not be able to get there to have a challenge. But this challenge here is fantastic at the moment. That's Jacob O'Reilly. Do we see him on screen at the moment? Just is a whole gaggle of cars. The 92 machine in Eddie Beswick, I think, is starting to go. Oh, Caleb Hydes, has he gone backwards? Has he in the 92? He has.
Tried to go around the outside. Marino Morello at tower turn was unable to get there as Morello ran out wide, and it's put 92 in the dirt. Beswick, Hins, and Jacob Todd, Seth Brown, all making their way past the 92 before he was able to recover that one on the circuit after attempting to pressure O'Reilly for the position. That has not worked out for him at all. And I can confirm for you, the southeasterly direction here at Sebring is the Le Mans corner and the Ullman straightaway. That will be the first part of the circuit to get wet if that weather continues. And indeed, it is coming as a front from that direction. So that will be the part of the track that gets wet first here tonight, Aaron, and then we will see it progress basically across the starting complex, and then it's across the top half of the circuit. Will be the way the rain comes as this battle pack continues. And information from race control, our first penalty of the race. Sam Sproul, 10-second post-race time penalty for that contact at the end of lap 2 with Zachary Smith at the Sunset Bend.
10 seconds. I mean, that's fair enough. I mean, that was pretty blatant. Up the inside, gave him a bit of a nudge. Could have got himself out of that position, but that's racing. That's racing, and he's going to take that 10 seconds, and that is going to put him way down the field as well if he would take that 10 seconds right into his feet.
Yeah, looking at him now for Sam Sprout, 10 seconds back, puts him, it takes him back to P25, just behind Stuart Ellis. Unfortunately, Ryan Houlihan further back, and Zachary Smith has just come to the pit lane as well, so he goes a long way down the order, and Nathan Garner will go past him as a result. So big issues there for 25. I'm not sure if that is something else or delayed response to the incident, but nevertheless, we'll worry about that later as Newman and Boylett going for it here into tower turn. Boylett going to try and cross over on the number 2 machine for the inside up to here of Gendabine, but the thing is here, he's got the inside for the next couple of corners. Flat out around here, he'll be able to hold around the outside easy. This is nothing in preparation for the actual proper braking zones here at Gendabine and Le Mans. Inside for the first one. Can he hold it up high? No. Newman able to drive ahead and get the position, or hold on to the position, but again, Boylett backs it up, cuts back across a little earlier for maximum power down onto the back straightaway here, the Ullman straight, and looks to try and close in, but these Porsches fairly evenly balanced here, so no dice this time by Maloney in the meantime behind, coming up from the very back of the field now into P20. Looks to make things work, as I've just seen further up the road, Jacob Todd's brushed the wall on the exit of Sunset here for 12th place all by himself. But here we go, Maloney, Mercedes power under the bonnet at the front of this car here, going to eye up Simon Cox's spot, and Cox will bail out a little bit early on the brakes as Maloney hooks that inside line. Another spot gained for the Trans-Tasman 29 in this decidedly non-TTR paint scheme that continues to catch our eye, and now adorned with the purple LED strips as well.
It looks awesome. That car, if you can go back to him on the broadcast there, Jake Maloney's car looks fantastic. Those LED strips on the side of it look amazing. He's only made up 9 positions. It shows that qualifying does make a difference, boys and girls, if you're watching at home. Good to put your car in the position where you can challenge, but the field is so close tonight that it's going to be really, really hard for him to push up for position. So P19 at the moment. We'll see how he goes as he goes through tries to come through the rest of the field, but looks like probably only 1 lap left for him to make any difference.
Indeed, we are 100% going to be going 8 laps in this opening sprint tonight. And Cody Death just needs another lap and change to bring it home and tick another box off on this charge to start the season here in this brand new GT3 National Championship. Damon Woods looking very comfortable in second because he's got an even bigger margin from the gap he's got ahead of him to Dylan Burst behind. Burst is maybe has to worry about Lachlan Capel there. So been shadowing him this entire race. It looks like they are pretty much a dead heat for lap times in this one. Saying that, of course, might be better just to leave it as it is right now. Start here for both races, or start here for the next race, and then be able to press on. As Barney's got the white flag in hand, I should say. And we've got ourselves one final circuit of this in this opening race to go. As in the background there, Marina Morella to the inside down the front stretch as Caleb Heights just made a move on him for that 14th position, sorry. And they get that resolved before turn 1. So any final spots, can they be made up by the 92 machine that he's a little bit further back in the field as Death already out on the big bend heading up to the hairpin.
Yeah, he's checked out. The battle for P10 at the moment, Eddie Beswick is holding off an absolute train at the moment. Thomas Hins is all over him. And the people that are going to pounce on anything that happens there is going to be Todd, Brown, Hides, and maybe Morella if he's lucky to slip through here. But Eddie Beswick there in the number 30 Lamborghini Hurricane, it's literally holding up a train of cars at the moment. So the top 9 pretty much settled in, I think, unless something completely terrible happens to them. They're going to be locked in. But this little fight down the back here, I'm seeing what are we on screen at the moment? Yeah, Jake Maloney. Jake Maloney's made himself into P18. He won't get Newman, I wouldn't think. He's too far up the track there. So he's made 10 positions in 15 minutes. If that's anything to go by, he'll probably win the next race.
He's going to be a long way behind. That's his biggest problem here in this one. Positions gained at the back of the field is one thing, but being able to keep carving forward is another. Stuart Ellis and Simon Chadwick getting dicey at tower turn. The 73 had 2 tyres in the dirt there on the outside on approach, but otherwise comes through unscathed. But for Cody Death, he's just got himself this final corner here at Sunset Bend to negotiate. And I thought maybe Damien Woods would provide a stiffer challenge to start off the night, but he saw off the fight in qualifying, and he will see off any threat here in the opening sprint. Cody Death makes it 4 sprint wins for the season. 100% track record continues here to get the night underway here at Sebring.
Yeah, that is an absolutely awesome effort from Cody D to win one of these races, but let alone win all 4 of the sprint races that we've had so far. I did say at the top of the broadcast that he's a ring specialist. Unofficially, I think officially he is. We'll see how he goes in the feature race a bit later. I'm just watching as everyone's come across the line now. Yeah, everyone.
Get that last two back here, unfortunately.
Houlihan's just come across the line now in the 999 machine to round up the top 26 drivers that have come across. I don't know. Oh, we still got Zachary Smith and Nathan Gardner at the back there, just trying to find their way to the end of this race. Commiserations for those guys. They probably didn't want to be in the position that they were in. I'm surprised that we didn't see the Whitey's Pie safety car in this sprint race. Very well behaved from all the race car drivers out there. Still putting on massive efforts out there. It's some really good racing to watch. It's not all about crashes, ladies and gentlemen. Some of the racing has been fantastic as well. So looking forward to them to continue that as we get into the rain. And as you can see on the right hand side,
oh no,
the rain starts to flow in.
Yeah, about that. When we can get that up, if we can. Yeah, have a look at that little formation that's starting to occur in the rain band. In fact, it was quite literally a perfect rain band, and as if by pure happenstance, the radar reports we've got ourselves a break in the band where the circuit is. Now, certainly we've got time left before that happens, and maybe a bit of rain there from the northern side of the band will cut through nevertheless, but that's definitely a much lower guarantee of rain. In saying that, the track was a singular dot on that zoom level,
exactly
so
right.
We'll wait to see how much of the circuit gets wet, but that could be interesting to watch out for in this final race of the evening. But your results here on screen now after race 1. Deeth from Woods from Burst, your top 3. As we'll bring in Cody Deeth as well to have a quick chat with him here before the warm-up is over and the feature begins. But once again, Cody Deeth qualifying on pole and leading from lights of flag here in the sprint. We thought Damon Woods might be a bit of a challenge here tonight, given that the two of you are pretty closely matched on pace, and certainly that was pretty reflected in qualifying, but able to hold a 1 second margin in the end. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, I was pretty on edge there. Damon was quite quick, as he always is. You know, he's obviously one of the best in Australia at the moment. Yeah, it was good to keep him at about 1 second and take home the win.
Well,
Cody,
not long now before, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Dan. Cody, I just wanted to talk to you about that race. Yeah, you put it on. I just said at the top of the broadcast, you might not listen to it. Listen back to it. I've called you the ring specialist. You've done all the rings now, so you're 4 from 4. Can you bring it through for this feature? I don't know, but have you done any wet rain racing at the moment?
But not in the darkness, so it'll be interesting. So I'll see. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to see many puddles, but we'll try and keep it on track.
Well, mate, you need to get back out on track right now because they're about to get racing. Good luck on tonight's race. As far as the championship goes, you've got one hand, one arm, and half your sack on the championship trophy. So, good luck with it, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thank you. Have a good one.
No worries. Sorry to butt in there, Dan. You got to talk. To a champion every so often, you know. And he's really proving to be an absolute champion when it comes to GT3 racing. No one has really taken the challenge to it, and I'm really hoping that someone or a team or an individual here can at least take it to him for the later part of the series.
Someone might just think so, but yeah, he's certainly no slouch in a GT3 car. As we have a look here at the radar once again, and how about that little gap that had formed in the rain cloud has reclosed, and we're looking at some pretty decent rain there in the moderate intensity region, the yellow coloring as well. So the forecast says we're within 15 minutes of the track, or within the rains falling in terms of 100% rainfall as well, to note. So we're going to watch for it to arrive from the Le Mans corner and the Ullman straightaway, as we've got a camera posted up to the edge of the circuit. The Ullman straightaway is now ready for this one here, so we'll wait to see as that rain falls down. It should be dry tyres for almost everyone, except at least one. I'm seeing, according to my timing, that Simon Cox is going to roll the dice and start this race on the wet tyres here tonight. Now, if this timing works out for him, he has just scored himself a masterstroke. And in fact, with every extra minute that we wait here on the grid before we get going, this is going to work out perfectly for him here tonight. I'm just going to get in close and can confirm, yes, my overlays are correct. Overlays are correct. I do see treads on the 64. So
I love it. Simon Cox having a dig. Well done, mate. Hopefully it pays off for him. The only problem is if it doesn't, those tyres are going to be absolutely gone by the time he gets to 5 or 6 laps in with no rain. I just wanted to do a quick mention. The guys in the chat, thanks for jumping in. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate it. Min's admin is there and said hello. Might have to cheer on my third favourite driver. I don't know who actually is, but we'll find out who that is shortly. And definitely listening to the best, most professional, unbiased commentary in Australia. Thank you very much.
Also critical to note, Brad Newman has not made it to the grid for this one here, so everyone on the left-hand lane, so Simon Cox, Samuel Sproul, Hayden Sells, Stuart Ellis and Zach Smith could technically, well, I haven't heard from race control if anyone's actually acknowledged that one there as to whether this process about leaving a gap that would be taken up by Newman and his starting spot, or whether everyone on that left lane further on back in the field will be allowed to move up an extra spot before we take the green flag here.
I think it'll be up to iRacing, to be honest. What happens there?
Well, that's the thing.
I'm looking at the rule book now. I can't see anything with it.
That's the thing. iRacing doesn't care about the fact there's a gap. It just says follow the car ahead of you in the lane. So in Simon Cox's case, it now is basically saying go and follow Marino Morella's number 7, even though he's listed as starting 15th in this race. And Simon Cox's grid spot is meant to be the number 19 box. So hypothetically would be allowed to roll up a little further as we're just waiting to see if this, I mean, this is going to be fascinating to watch. He's the only driver to have gambled on this. Everyone else is just committed to slicks. This long roll-up lap, a couple of extra minutes on gridding as well to make sure we had a chance to chat to Cody Deeth. Apparently within 10 minutes of rain falling here at the Sebring International Circuit, and that's including this time here while pacing. So it's just, if those wet tyres can hold on for 10 minutes and he doesn't fall too, the other critical thing is, yeah, it's not just that, it's also obviously not falling too far behind as well. But if the rain falls...
I think it's a gamble we're taking, to be honest. It's what do you got to lose in P20 or P19 at the moment? So I think it's a great dice roll. But speaking of dice rolls, actually, I did hear last week's broadcast, and you were a bit confused about you used to in the commentary talking about dice. It's very funny.
Yes, well, this is going to be interesting, to watch. It's for sure. The fact that only one driver's opted for the wet tyre start with the incoming rain. It's still a couple of minutes away. The forecast says 10. I'd probably say it's a little closer than that. It'll fall here first at Le Mans corner and in the start of the Ullman straight. But yeah, the pace drop off for being on wets to start this race off is probably going to be painful to say the least. But
I'm keeping an eye on it. I think he'd be okay. He's in a bit of a train, so if he can just stick behind some of those guys at the front there, Dylan Shepherd, Jake Maloney, Morello as well. If he can just hold on and just pray for the rain. Yeah, it's getting closer and closer. I've got more eyes on the rain than I do the race. And we're about to get underway for the feature race of round 4 of the ANZ Series GT3 National Championship, and they spread out, and Cody Deeth has taken a nice, he always gets a run with his teammates behind him. Damon Woods is going to follow him into turn 1. They spread out into turn 1, 3, 4 wide. Oh, there's a little bit of contact between the cars, 17. Where has he gone? Where's he ended up?
It's Capel and Rattray White, and guess what? If I'm not mistaken, they came together last week at the Hockenheim Ringers. Capel checks up with 3 wide in behind him with Kane, Cox and Ellis through turn 3 as they try and get themselves settled in for this opening race. And that all happened because of a bit of a dive coming from Simon Nicholson at turn 1 and able to make it work, but Capel trying to leave space on the inside in case that PGZ Porsche washed out. And it's caused, yeah, a bit of bedlam, but it's only been panel rubbing for now. There's another one of the cars, Seth Brown in the grass at the hairpin, going to run to the escape road before he can get back on the circuit. So
he might be in a bit
everyone
of trouble there, coming back onto the track where he did.
He's got, there we go, iRacing slowdown penalty now cleared on the way to Cunningham Corner, so did have a bit of time loss there as Rattray White's going to dive up the inside of Stuart Ellis, but doesn't get his nose ahead at the corner yet, so that'll be sorted now. On board with Cox, looking in behind him. Who have we got there in behind? Zach Smith, Simon Chadwick, and Ryan Houlihan all fighting over the same bit of real estate. Plus, you got Nathan Garner. Brad Newman did make it out on circuit, and it's actually released him from the pits right behind the fielders. There we go. Cox, he's lost five spots for now, but he's still hanging on in the field. So every minute he can hang on is going to work wonders for him if the tyres don't begin to cook. Because we've got some estimations that are, looking at 5 to 6 seconds a lap potentially he could lose on pace as to whether he can gain that back when the track transitions from wet to dry. Because it's not just the fact that the rain starts in 5 or so minutes. As Hins is around, contact at Sunset Bend potentially with Dylan Shepherd in the blackout OPR car. Going to send him to the very back of the field, unfortunately.
Speaking of going to the back of the field, I saw at the start of Lachlan Capel, he went from P4 to P14 with that little bit of contact as we went through turn 1 at the start of that race. So he's got a lot of work to do to get back up to the top 5 where he finished in that sprint race. And we have a little bit of contact again. Who was that? That was Lachlan.
Yep, Capel and Shepherd locking wheels through the opening sector, and the number 8 car did not rotate, and now it's absolute scramble here in this little group of cars. They try and work themselves out through Big Ben. Contact now between Rattray White and Shepherd, and then the 43 backs off under brakes, which then checks up an inside line, including Seth Brown and others. And Shepherd trying to redress with Capel.
The 43.
And around goes the OPR machine, I think redressing with Capel in an attempt to give that spot back. Seth Brown wasn't having any of it there, or at least didn't have a clue of the intention of the OPR Porsche. Puts a second car around off the back of the train here on lap 2 now.
Yeah, that was, we'll have to go back and revisit that Dylan Shepherd incident, but I think, yeah, you're right. I think he was trying to just a little bit of redressing, got himself in a really good position, but got spun around. Yeah, we'll watch what happened on board with Hins at the start of this race as we come through. No, that was no way. That car was no good. Thanks to Berlin Motor Group for the replay. That was the number 52 machine. That was Hins, wasn't it? Yeah, Thomas Hins. And Dylan Shepherd. Yeah, that was. I didn't see that actually on the live feed, so it's good to catch up with that again. But that car of Thomas Hins will not be good in a straight line or turning or anything. So it might be worth rolling the dice here. You can't come into the pits.
Contacts. Rattray White's around with Sam Sproul on the exit of Sunset Bend. The 17 is
big contact.
Backwards all the way to the start finish line practically as he begins to get it rolling once again. Takes him a while, but he gets it refired and he's going to get going. Now the dust is settling, but
I'm trying to.
We'll
have to get a replay on that because that.
Yeah, I only caught the end of it. I don't know how exactly that unfurled, but that's the second of the OPR cars getting entangled. Rattray White now the second time. So, okay, Sproul wide in the 606, and then they come back and, well, from that angle, it's not quite clear if he's completely clear and has the right to it. We might need to try and get a different angle if we can, pretty please, Jay, at some point. We'll go back live for now because Rattray White, not Rattray White, pardon me, it's Seth Brown that's now engaged in a duel with Sam Stroud, but we will actually go back to this replay from Birmingham. So
inside line.
Yeah, he's definitely inside. It's a question of, is he completely clear of Sproul and has the right to come across? And
I think he's done
from that angle, he's pretty much clear in the car. Yeah, bottoms out, possibly. I actually will go back and look for myself and confirm for you rather than working purely off this.
Yeah, we'll have to.
As we go back live, I'll let you talk to that.
Deep dive into that one before the rain hits and see how Zach Retro White, how good is it? Oh, here we go. So he had room. Oh, no.
He was almost clear, but by millimeters, it's almost like basically nose to diffuser. As, on live, Chu Kang and one of the dynamic sim sports cars, it's Stuart Ellis has gotten together, and the incident's carried on into Lamont corner with Ryan Houlihan.
My God, they've literally let themselves go. That sprint race was just an anomaly. I think these guys are playing for keeps out there. We're only about 5 minutes into this race, and they're playing like there's like 2 minutes left. Just think, I think the weather is about to hit, guys. We've got that live radar is that's actually zoomed in. That's nice to see. So I reckon a couple of laps, and we're going to see rain out there. That means that all these guys out on slicks will have to go for at least 2 or 3 laps with the rain falling to get to that window.
Yeah, they will. I can tell you Simon Cox's lap times are already starting to, well, not dip, they're stabilising. And the biggest problem for Simon Cox is that stabilising is happening at a 2:07 bracket versus your leaders in the 59s. He's over 6 seconds off the pace of your leaders. He's over, and it's still even compared to the cars directly ahead of him, like Dylan Shepherd, who is a little dinted and in battle pack at this stage, but Shepherd's lapping in the 2:01s at this stage. He's a long way off the pace. As Eddie Beswick and Adam Hughes going at it, plus they've got one of the, that's Jamie Christensen, the first of the Vermilion Esports cars there for company as well. As my radar says, the rain is just starting to brush the circuit at Le Mans. As we have confirmation, the rain has arrived now. It will still be roughly dry here. There we go. So as Jinder being corner now, the first of this complex, the drivers will be driving into the rain as they come into this section. Now the thing is, they don't want to dive for wet straight away because, of course, it's not going to be wet enough to make a difference yet. So for Simon Cox, it's some relief, but it's not the relief he was looking for just yet. But then again, look at that there. As the rain starts moving in, we're already getting the spray along the Ullman straight away.
This is fantastic racing. We'll have to jump on board with one of the drivers shortly when the rain comes down, just to see what the like in a pack and see what the visibility they actually have, because I reckon the visibility tonight is going to be 0, and they're all going to be driving by braille as we go further into tonight. No safety car yet either. Oh, Adam Hughes, is he?
Yep, he's in
the lane. He's coming in.
No, I think this is a lap early.
I think it's
definitely going to. It's going to hurt. As in the meantime, on board with Jamie Christensen. So visibility here looks to be pretty decent at the moment, thanks to the headlights in front of him that he can work off of here. But use from race control, Sam Sproul has been penalised for his incident on lap 2 with Zach Rattray White. Contact at Sunset Bend deemed his fault. In fact, actually, it's a short stop from Hughes, but it does say he's on wets. So yeah, he's just filled the car up and put tyres on because he can't have put too much fuel in after just 4 laps. So, but he gets on early. I think it's too early for wets, but apparently, in addition to Simon Cox, Seth Brown, Brad Newman, and Nathan Gardner all going to disagree with me there on that one. Rattray White as well. So 23rd on back and now on the wet tyre. And we're being reminded also, consider the fact that the fuel burn rate will be slightly lower for these cars. Now that the pace slows down, the number of laps that will be completed will reduce. So how's that there from D? He's already struggling to pull it up. So never mind this. Yeah, it's basically the rain intensity that's been set up for this server here means that you basically are straight into wet conditions. There is no real wet to dry or dry to wet transition. It's basically you need to come in now, it looks like, because they're all starting to have a bit of a wander across the circuit. Jacob Todd's almost put it in the grass on the exit of Le Mans corner as this rain settles in and we get ready surely for the round of pit stops. So Simon Cox in the number 64.
They're all in. They're all in, mate. Here they come.
And there goes, Deeth is in deep. Did that count as being too quick on pit entry? No. He just pulled it up. They needed to respond to Simon Cox there. Simon Cox has made everyone come into pit. His lap times have decreased, although he must have had a little bit of a moment, even on the wet tyres.
coming through this lap. So,
Oh, Wood overshot this box. Oh, it's going to hurt him. Now, actually, interestingly here, Deeth about halfway through his tyre change as Cox is rounding Sunset Bend. You know what? Cody Deeth is probably going to come back out still in the leaders race. Don't mind me. Like, Simon Cox will gain spots off this. But he also has a pit stop that he still has to do for fuel. Everyone will have to come for fuel too at some point. But as we come away from the pit lane, Cody Deeth is just going to hang on to the leaders race for now. Although Cox with warm tyres versus stone cold wets, this might change here as the 64 goes to P2. And immediately,
he's holding on to
he's
it.
in hot. He was in hot, but he's just held onto it indeed as they're now trying to find a wet line here as the rain is picking up in intensity here in Sebring with just over half an hour on the clock. The question is now, Deeth, can he make it on fuel? Now that we're going to be in this period of reduced burn, whereas Cox, he will owe us a stop for fuel still in this race.
I think Simon Cox is still in the better position here for fuel. He'll come in for some new set of wets a bit later. They're going to be a little bit slippery.
Yeah, I doubt he will, to be honest.
As the rain intensifies. So I think he's still in a really good position. He's just got to get a level head on him here and bring this home, because I think they're going to have a lot of cars if they're going to have a bit of fuel burn. I don't think they're going to save 2 laps of fuel. I'm unsure, but everyone hasn't got enough fuel for dry conditions right now.
Well, that's the thing, is that the fuel tank would last about half an hour of the race in a dry situation, but we're now in a wet situation. Well, the number of laps we get done here reduces by a good couple. We're going to have to wait to see the pace of the field on wets. In fact, Simon Cox did a 2 minutes 13 on the track as it was progressing from dry to wet. And we'll see here now that we're getting into some more of this moderate intensity of rain, so it's going to properly soak the circuit here, and it should stay raining for the rest of this race. And yeah, the forecast does say that as much, that we should be expecting rain for a couple of hours here to finish off the night, so it will not transition back to dry. This is what the drivers have to expect. This has been a moment for Simon Chadwick on this out lap here for the rest of the field. He's got, I believe that would have been Rattray White in the 17 machine. We can't see exactly though, and on the exit, bit of contact there. Both cars get out the other side. Oh no, gets the curb. Oh. Solo spins himself. And unfortunately, Aaron, that's the dangers of driving this track like you did moments ago in the dry.
He'll have to go down to Berlin Motor Group and get himself a new GT3, I think, thanks to the replay there. But yeah, he's an absolute tank slapper in the wet. That won't be the first we see of that, ladies and gentlemen. We'll see a lot of that. Have we got Jake Maloney on screen at the moment? He's up to P11 at the moment, so he's making up some really good positions. He's in the wet, he's in behind Caleb Hydes at the moment, and looking really racy, so we'll see. So he's made up about 8 positions this race.
7
in the pit stop, or 7 positions in this pit stop, so looking forward to seeing what he can do for the rest of this race. He's got Jacob Todd on his inside, but he's holding on.
And yeah, I can tell you then the lap time's continuing to slow down as the rain pours onto this circuit. We're now, for Simon Cox, at 2 minutes 16 in behind Cody Deeth, but Deeth is now checking out. So Deeth will give us here our best approximation of what the wet weather pace is like at this stage. Damon Woods is currently stuck behind Cox, and this shouldn't be for long, as he'll be looking to get a move on and maybe try and find a way to close up to Cody Deeth. But if anything, this is perfect for the number 3 of Deeth. He gets somebody in behind who, no offense to Simon, is definitely down the order a fair bunch, and you're holding the drivers up behind a little bit. He's got completely clear air ahead of him, apart from what his windscreen wiper has to clear off his windshield, whereas someone down Woods, he's going to have to try and find a way past and navigate this spray for a bit. And he hasn't quite made it work at Jean de Bean this time. There's been trouble for Chip Kang at some point on this lap, further on down the order, and Nathan Gardner's gone for a tumble as well in the 28, right down the back at Cunningham Corner. So unfortunately that puts that car now last of our runners. As
and he's around. Pack. We're just talking about Chewy Kang before. He's around.
Nice, a second time.
Coming down into the tower, and he just went around, did a bit of a spin by himself.
Seth Brown as well. Troubles for the 05 machine here on screen now as well, as had a moment. So yeah, drivers now, OQC, is this the issue with drivers taking dry lines and getting themselves caught out?
It's the first in GT3
yep.
Championship being on the wet, so yeah.
Seth Brown got the curb, was the answer. He actually drove it up and over the apex curb at Genderbeen. The car not only got slippery on the curb, but then bottomed out for good measure as well. So hopefully there's Seth Brown learning the lesson if you stay away from your dry line in the wet. Otherwise you will find a visit with at least the good old 360, let alone Barry R, as a one Super G would like to usually call it. Meanwhile, in front of Maloney, what do we got? Caleb Hyde's trying to get past Jacob O'Reilly, but Hyde's also clambering the curbs as now. The rain builds up, the puddles are forming here at Sebring now, so they're going to have to start searching for a bit of, again, the optimum grip here. Of course, they've got ABS to help them get it pulled up, and but they're all working off the normal line now to try and find the best place to get it pulled up here, and then drive it out as well, of course, on the power. Because as this rain continues to come down, they'll have to start working those alternate lines, start trying to find where the traction is so they're not cutting into their TC too much. Credit to Simon Cox, he's still got Damon Woods in behind him here, Aaron, as the rain comes down. It does mean Cody Deeth, this has gained a free 0.8 of a second on Damon Woods on that last lap, but the 56 still needs to get through to second if he wants a clear bit of road, which he hasn't gotten yet, although it might be coming now at Genderbeen.
He's just done it now.
Oh, but he's in too hot. He's in deep. Cox will actually roll back out when he acknowledges his fight is not with the 56. So the Dur Esports driver is through to second once again. He now has 3.8 seconds of clear air ahead of him. Is there any chance of him catching the number 3 Cody Deeth? We'll have to wait and see. 27 minutes to sort that one out, though.
It might be. It might pay Simon Cox here to come into the pits now. Possibly get. He'll be able to get to the end. He'll have fresher, wetter tyres. Possibly. We'll see what he does here as he comes around turn 17. Sunset. It's not really sunset at the moment. It's very wet as you go through there. If Jay, if you can jump on board with maybe Caleb Hyde's. Oh, as I say, Caleb Hyde's. I think he's just gone around.
Yep, he's backwards in the middle of Sunset.
I can't believe I just put the commentator's curse. Oh, and he's reversed back. Oh my god. I nearly watched him just take out the field just there.
Trying to get that thing pointed in the right way. Finally in the right direction. Back in 22nd place.
So we jump on board here with Hayden Sell. This is great visuals here for everyone at home. You can't see a thing. I have no idea where he is on track at the moment, and you shouldn't be able to tell. So he is driving by absolute braille. You can see the car as he comes up behind there, but as soon as they get into a bit of speed, where they're coming, they're going to be coming down here to the hairpin very shortly, and we'll see the what happens on the speed. The lights are doing a really good job, but yeah, that's that's hard to see at the moment, and hard to put a pass on too.
You know, this is probably one of the tracks that you've got the most, sort of most assistance from the track with this sort of runway lighting style. Yeah, the edge lights here actually giving you a very visible beacon as to where the edge of the painted lines are. Don't touch the curb. Hayden Sell hasn't been given the memo from his own teammate and Simon Chadwick, who did the exact same thing on his outlap. As we're going to go back to Caleb Hyde's, and I can tell you from having a quick look at this by myself before we bring up this Berling Motor Group replay, Aaron, another driver going solo around as the rear end overloads on the bumps. And then, he's parked up, and this is fine, but the moment he just goes to reverse to get off the racing line, just the golden rule that I would recommend drivers follow is you hold your brakes until you know you're absolutely clear. And as painful as that is to wait and have to do it, it's just, otherwise you risk making a bigger accident, messing up your car, let alone messing up somebody else's.
You'll get a penalty in this as well. I'm pretty sure that in the rule book, which I'm deep into at the moment, you can get a penalty for reversing the car onto the track. So great shots here from Jay at the moment as they're battling here. Jake Maloney up another spot. He's made it up into the top 10 now. And he's got a different line around there than the other guys. You don't want to really take the racing line. A lot of puddles as he comes back onto the main straight. He's just hanging on to it. This is great to watch from these guys. Jake Maloney absolutely putting the pedal down. He's going to try and have to put the car, just to the left a little bit so he can see where he's going. I don't want to be on that optimal line on the inside. It doesn't look like there's much grip, although
Worked out for
he's
him.
going to
for
get a
now.
spot on Jacob O'Reilly.
Just going to finish the job under brakes, and indeed we'll pull ahead of a 222 into turn 3 here. And job now done for Maloney up into P9 with that move complete there. Whether he can now pull away and perhaps start getting going in there. This whole game here, the other big challenge obviously with a lot of the track here is that runoff sections like Sunset Bend there, where it's all part of the racing surface, of course, is going to be a challenge to deal with, because you're dealing with all of these parts of the circuit that have got painted lines and the like. Is again drivers getting right into the puddles there on next to the hairpin. Like, yeah, things here. Not just where the dry line was and where the rubber was placed down, which becomes a slipperier part of the track to race on. Here you've got a lot of lines and painted lines to work with or negotiate. Now they're not too big here, which does help. They're pretty thin painted lines, but nevertheless, if you're on them for a little too long, they can be less grippy than the normal part of the surface. Seth Brown has just lost a spot to Dylan Shepherd for the moment. Yep, spot has been lost. Shepherd able to drive out of Cunningham corner just enough to get himself up to 20th place. Brown now back to 21st. As look at this rain radar once again. It shows no sign of easing off for at least the next probably half an hour before we get any kind of easing of rain. So yeah, this track will be well and truly wet by the time we're done. Well, so who's that in behind? Is that behind Seth Brown, Caleb Hydes maybe? I think it was, yes. The 92, although he goes to the curb at Jindabean. Drivers here still trying to run a dry-ish line, it seems, to open up corner entries as best as possible. So I guess credit to them for trying, but it's going to put them in all kinds of strife if they then don't find the grip they're looking for. As we'll go back up to the fight for the top 10 with O'Reilly hanging on to that last spot, and Morella wants to get off him from behind.
Morella's looking really racy here at the moment. We might stay with this because he's going to make a challenge for this. Yeah, he's just got a little bit different line. He knows where to position the car. Jacob O'Reilly is literally, that turn 1, he just got done before by Jake Maloney, and he just got done again the next lap by Morella. So Morella's got that position up into P10, puts Jacob O'Reilly into P11. He'll fight back. He'll try as hard as he can. He might be fuel saving. I see a lot of people in the chat asking about fuel. People saying maybe a splash. Even the ANZ Series are saying it's interesting to see who needs to take fuel still. So people in the know maybe letting us know what's going on. But I honestly think that the guys that came in on that lap early are a lap short of fuel, to be honest. And I'm trying to work out who those guys were that came in really, really early. Simon Cox is still out there. He can pit anytime he wants to try and bring it home. Who knows? He might be able to get to the end. I don't know what the fuel numbers are like.
Remember, Simon Cox hasn't refueled at all, so there's almost no chance of him making it, because he's basically 4 green flag laps of fuel. Well, sorry, it was 5 green or 3 green. Three green flag laps in a damp. Actually, no, they all pitted on lap 5 pretty much. So 4 flying laps at full speed in the dry, plus a transition lap in the wet there for all of them. So he owes everyone some fuel, although he's still hanging on to P3. Dylan Burst is coming up on him now for the next car in this position. We'll now see here on Suzuka. Lap 5 for all of the drivers that have pitted so far. Simon Cox sticking out as the odd one in that bunch. Now, the question of, who came in a lap early? Hayden Adam Hughes, apologies. The first car that came in a lap short relative to the rest of the field. Currently up in 8th place is the Crisscross 95. The next car, you have to look all the way down to Brad Newman. I'm going to go check that for you. Richard Jace just asked me a question of being asked, overlay saying Hayden Sell was on a dry tyre in these conditions.
That's what it says to me too. There's no way.
It would seem very off. I'm going to try and look and see if we can spot it in these conditions, but it's very unlikely to be right, because he's driving in pretty spots where you would drive. You would drive it if it was wet.
If he is on slicks, hats off to him. We need to give him a bit of a round of applause and maybe get him in here afterwards and have a chat about that, because there's no way. there's no way he is on slicks around here. And if he is God's gift to racing. As he's blinking a little bit too. So yeah, maybe it could be a glitch in iRacing. I've zoomed in. They look like slicks to me.
Yeah, I'm starting to do some frame by frame
like Brad
analysis.
Newman behind him, you'd hate that with being Brad Newman and having someone with slicks in front of you, and you're on full wets and you can't get around him.
I had to zoom in a long way to the left rear tire, but I'm seeing grooves. So I think
okay, it makes sense.
I think that is an exception to the rule of it's working and people are shown on wets as that's Lachlan Capel surely off the road at Cunningham. Yep. Number 8 ERT Porsche, which he's a long way down the order from where he was in the start of this race.
Oh, we've had Smith's come up as well.
Okay, point. Yeah, sorry, reminded there. Turn 1 got caught up in the entanglement, got entangled with Rattray White. Zach Smith, you said there, having a bit of a moment at Cunningham. Yep, literally exactly the same thing. Firing off the road and having all kinds of a nightmare, as looks like for me personally, my copy of the Simmers crash, I'll be entirely reliant on the broadcast feed for the time being.
Good luck with that.
Well, annoyingly, it means, I don't have my overlay. I'll have to get my overlay data repopulated here, but I can work off of what we've got here.
Take it easy.
Work off what we've got here with
in the battle for P10 at the moment, Morella and Boylett are locked in battle at the moment. Jake Maloney. Did Adam Hughes get up another position past... I don't know if he did or not. Oh, sorry, Jacob O'Reilly was struggling before. That's who it was. So Morello's actually gone backwards. Boylett's going to come up into P10. A little bit of a change up there into our top 10 at the moment. But out the front, Cody Deeth has got himself a 5.7 second gap over Damon Woods. And then Damon Woods is comfortably in second. Simon Cox has to pit at the moment. He's 5 seconds behind that. Then the other Clips teammate, Dylan Burst, rounds up that top 4, which will be top 3 very shortly. Very separated in the top 8, but after that it gets pretty. The battle for P10 is going to be on right to the end. We've got 17 minutes, probably about 7 laps of racing left. I reckon about 6.9 laps of racing fuel left in these things as well. So I'm really looking forward to the last couple of laps here. Who has to duck in for fuel? Who doesn't? I've had a few people in the comments telling me Sean Mick Namara said if he's on wets he'd be in the fence, and you're right, he was definitely on wets. Is there a tank cap? Yes, 50% tank cap, so technically 30 minutes to go, they can come in for fuel and get to the end on dries, but as we were saying, on wets you could probably go a little bit longer than that, maybe 2 or 3 laps longer than that. So we'll see if everyone's made the absolute strategy call and come in at the right time. Seth Brown has just turned himself around at the back there while we're on board with Jacob Todd, but Seth Brown at the back there has gone, just spun himself. I don't think he's lost any positions, but he's back on track right now. Simon Cox, let's watch for him. He's got to come into the pits. This will give us a good indication of the fuel burn for these cars. So he's coming up to the 15-minute mark. He'd want to pit now, which he hasn't. So, he might pit now. He's coming up into sunset, into turn 17. See if he just stays to the inside here. He might come into the pits. It looks like he's going to. And that's let's see where he comes out. We've got a lot of guys. Yeah, he got that thing stopped, and he'll come through for the pits. It'll put him back right down position, probably into P20 at the moment. So we'll see how he goes for the remaining. A lot of people questionable on fuel. As we go back to, I see that you're on with Jake Maloney there, into P10. I'm sure that was the P84. Simon Cox still going back down the grid. And that brings everyone up just one position. It puts Morello into P10 as well. And Jacob O'Reilly into P11. Simon Cox is still getting fuel, still getting service, still putting tyres on it. I hope he doesn't put dries on it. I really don't. I hope he puts wets on it. He comes out now, and he's going to be all the way back into 23rd position, unfortunately. As we watch this battle up here with Morello on Jake Maloney, and watch this visibility absolutely disappear as they come down into the little hairpin, the right-hand hairpin. getting out of that little slipstream so we can see where he is. All these drivers should know where all the puddles are now and trying to... Oh, and Jake's gone a little wide. As Morello tries to put a move on him. He's literally on his rear bumper now. He might have to go around the outside here to get onto the inside. No, he's covering off. Jake Maloney covering off as he goes down here as they go down towards the tower. Very fast bit of racetrack as we go through here. I think if anywhere you're going to get him is into the tower, into the straight.
Well, here it's all about. It is all about how you get the car set up right for this corner. So I can see now, it is becoming a bit of a puddle on the inside of Tower Turn. The drivers try and figure out the best way around the circuit. Depending on how the cars are responding to the conditions, they're also the puddles and the dry line become quite treacherous, and you just won't be able to pull it up. You won't be able to turn as Sam Sproul gets a bit of 45-degree action, and who have we got parked in the fence there? O'Reilly. Triple two machine, unfortunately, is stopped and waiting to get back going again. I think we'll see here, if I quickly just check, he came unstuck by himself, yes. And not another driver. I think he's taken the apex curb. Yep, he's pulled it up on the curb in the wet. That's an absolute no-go. And he is done. There's a... Oh, apologies there. Looks like we've had a moment there. We're on board, I believe, with one of our Porsches, which should be Brad Newman. Yes, it looks like it is Brad Newman. He's chasing down Zach Smith. You have to ignore it saying P1. Go by the tower saying P14. Newman taking that pit lane start at the beginning of the race. Seems to cause a bit of a confusion amongst things there, but he's going to get to the inside of Smith on the exit of turn 1. That should be his spot now as we come up to turn 3. But Smith, outbrakes himself, contact with Jacob Todd, and Newman doesn't want to give it up. They're going to be both in the grass as a result of that one there. Smith loses out the most. It'll be, then a check-up as Shepherd tries to get past, but Newman's going to try and give the spot back potentially there for a moment. But can't, because Shepherd was trying to come through at race pace.
I just looked at one of the cars in the background. Caleb Hydes has come in for a splash of fuel. So it's one of the guys that could not make it on fuel. Let's see who else has to come in for a splash and dash. But that's one of them that has to had to eat humble pie and go right to the back of the field and see what he can do. And hopefully some other people are a bit short on fuel as well. Morello is going to get this done on Jake Maloney around the outside. Yeah, he got it done. We've got that on the live stream as well. So he's been pushing for ages with that one, and Morello actually got it done, which is awesome.
Shepherd and Newman.
Oh no, the 43 machine. That's Dylan Shepherd, Brad Newman around. Oh, they will not be happy. And the front end of Dylan Shepherd's car is very second-hand.
Elbows out. Neither of them willing to give an inch. And as a result, both of them in the fence, although Shepherd more so than Newman. Newman's car getting the... So Dylan Shepherd around the outside, Brad Newman at Cunningham corner, and then forced the issue up the inside, and then both cars here, well, I wouldn't say it was Shepherd running wide, because there it looks like it's the contact with Newman. It drags his car across the nose of the number 2. The only way that ended up then as a result was going to be in the fence. So yeah, both cars mechanical black flags. They will have to go back to the pits to fix things up for themselves, which is going to be a limp home run here. On board with, I believe this was Zach Smith at the time, in behind. Contact once, and then they get through here. Shepherd runs the tiniest bit wide, but even then we even lose it in the spray. Just the cars get locked together at the axles. To be honest, I think the biggest problem is the cars just get locked together, and the moment they get locked together, Shepherd's car does not turn left like he needs it to or wants it to, and without Newman willing to back out of it, because Shepherd can't really back out once he's hooked on, the end result there is both cars fire into the fence. So they'll take a quick repair, and I think probably for both of them they'll probably follow Caleb Hyde's example and splash some fuel. No, Shepherd's going to do some extended repairs here. Oh, he hasn't enabled... It looks like he didn't toggle the fast repair because Newman's back out and away. And being reminded he had to use it earlier in the race. And that's why he looks to be done as Jacob Todd.
Chase slapper.
Gets away with it, though, able to hang on to it before it becomes problematic or anything of the sort. We might want to go back to the race lead.
Yeah, I think
top
Simon,
2 if we can.
Simon Nicholson and the race lead. It's really heating up at the front there. But Simon Nicholson on Dylan Burse, it's happening. Simon's is very, very racy at the moment on Dylan. And you're right, Damon Woods has found seconds in lap time. So we'll have to find out what's going on here. I think Damon Woods is about a second quicker at the moment around in the wet than Cody Death. And we've still got probably 5 laps left.
Pace is slowing down in these conditions.
Could be saving
question
fuel,
is,
I'm telling you.
Yeah, is this Death trying to... he had the margin. Slow the race up, maybe trim a lap off the race total so he doesn't have to come to the pits. Because he is about a second and change, so I was going to go back to that last lap with Jacob Todd on board with him now in the viewing Esports going just talking this Ferrari 296 spools up, finds a bit of a puddle or something as well to boot, and that's done as Nicholson's made the move on Dylan Burse for P3.
He's done it. That's been happening for the last few laps, and his pace is just fantastic in the wet. You'll see the times.
Deep wide.
They're doing 220s. I mean, the times are pretty slow. The only person that's below the 220s is Damon Woods. He's doing 218s. He's really catching the back of Cody Death here. And could he upset a clean sweep from Cody Death? Who knows?
Certainly looks like it's on to break the streak. Still 7 minutes and 40 seconds to figure this one out. By the time they get back to the line, we're probably looking at something in the order of 6 minutes and change. The question is Death just taking the opportunity to save some fuel too? Like, I would have to think he is. Make some advantage while he's got the lead, as Nathan Gardner also yields to presumably fuel requirements and will come into the pit lane to top up and then get back out there again. As Burse is staying with Nicholson, so this will be curious to watch. This fight for third might not be done, even though Nicholson caught up and made his way past that too much affair. It does mean, unfortunately, we're left with the fight for first and maybe a fight that carries on for third as they tiptoe their way around here on circuit. The rain's still over the circuit in a pretty moderate sense, so yeah. This will be... It's just continuing to keep up, if anything.
I would love to see their fuel tank right now to see how much fuel is actually in there, because you're right, I think these guys are just tiptoeing around. Cody Death is definitely taking his foot off the pace. Damon Woods is probably a second quicker than him. Oh, in that lap he was probably only half a second quicker than him there. So Death's obviously seen the challenge coming and knows what he has to do. These cars might cough at the last turn, who knows, but it's going to be close between these two at the front. Simon Nicholson is he's made himself clear of the Burse. Burse is in the pits. Burse has come into the pits as well, so a lot of guys having to come in for that splash and dash. Simon Cox is only going to make up positions if they keep doing this.
Oh yeah, off strategy call from the 64. Currently down in 18th place. Burse though is already rolling and will be back out on track behind Capel. So that was P4, now going to be actually just behind Capel, so P11 for the Eclipse Sim Sports Audi. Meanwhile, here at the front, my timing, and this adds up, we're going to have this lap and 2 more left on time here tonight. So the question is, does Cody Death have 2.5 laps of fuel at this pace in him? Does Damon Woods have the fuel in the car at this pace? Because as you said, it's been quicker consistently in this back half of the race once he finally got clear. So look for where it started.
In fact, margin in place to actually come in for a cheeky pit stop and nearly get out in front of Nicholson. It's going to be maybe not obviously, but they're going to be still in the top 5 if they have to come in.
Let's see. Burse was right behind Nicholson, came in. He's lost about 35 or 25 seconds doing that. So, yeah, that would put them on odds of still being in the top 5, both of them, here. Now, I'm just having a look at the lap time to see where the drop-off began between these two, and it looks to be, about halfway into this race. Where, actually, no, it was only a couple of laps ago. Back on lap 14.
Yep.
A couple of laps ago where Deeth suddenly stopped maintaining speed or advantage even on Damon Woods. So both of them going to carry on. So they're going to get to the penultimate lap here without needing to refuel on top of what they added with the tyre change. Have they done enough?
I'm trying to work out fuel things in the background. I've got my calculator going a whole lot to try and bring something to you guys at home. But I personally can't see these guys getting to the finish line. But hey, these guys are the best at what they do. So if they can nurse these cars to the end and just let them sip and let them take a little bit of fuel as they try and do these sub 2 minute 20 times in the wet, hopefully they can do it. But Simon Nicholson is just hoping and praying that these guys can't do it. And him and Eddie Beswick come through for the 1 and 2.
There has to be a 15 lap stint if they do it. Adam Hughes came in one lap earlier than everyone else with a handful of drivers. He bails to the pit lane, unable to make it on fuel to the finish. That might just be a sign here that if these top two have managed their fuel numbers here throughout this stint, they should be okay, as Woods is hustling the Derby Esports 56. Barely able to keep it on the road there through what is normally a easy flat-out kink. Coming through Cunningham and Tower, both drivers here using every bit of road to maintain speed, as they've got a car off in front of them actually. One of the 9.5, it's the 9.57 as Simon Chabak has had problems. He's going to have to stand aside here and hang on to the car.
Well done, well done.
Thankfully keeps it pointing in the right direction, and it's been happened a long way. Oh, it's happened through that kink section that we just saw with Woods and Deeth was a bit of struggle. And he just lost it, went around at speed. Is what happened to him, unfortunately. But on board still here, Aaron, with Damon Woods. He tries to hunt down Cody Deeth. We're coming to the white flag this time round. Do they have the fuel?
Great pitches. Look at that. You can't see a thing.
Sunset Bend, you've got the cones. They're just visible off to driver's left. Damon Woods hustling that thing into the turn to try and find something. Second, third, back to second again. And they don't have the fuel. They're both short on fuel. Has someone behind saved something? Then maybe can jump out. Barney has the white. Nicholson coming into Sunset Bend. Will be here in a couple of seconds.
Stay out, mate. Stay out.
No, he's in. He's already committed in.
He's committed
Beswick behind. Is he in? Yes, they're all a lap short on fuel, it seems.
Oh, no. Damon Woods has Damon Woods has pipped Deeth.
And Christensen's going to be the first to gamble. He'll go to third place. But it's Damon Woods indeed. Way quicker on fuel in the pit stop. And he'll jump the man who's been in the lead, but here comes Deeth immediately on the brakes.
Contact. Oh wow, what a race finish we're going to have here today. Jake Maloney stayed out as well. He's skyrocketed himself up into P6.
He's strong through the last corner of the opening segment. He's in the puddles through the big bend. That's going to give Damon Woods the chance to run away up to the hairpin. Oh, Deeth suck it in with the opportunity to try and chase down the man who's just gotten ahead. He's in hot under brakes to number 3. Stays off the lines, but Woods gets it pulled up in the 56 machine. Driving it out now here. His final uppermost. The question is Woods maybe tried to go short on fuel here to perhaps get that position back? Both fully committed here, under brakes into Cunningham corner. Deeth around the outside middle of the road. He's actually still there. He might just get the chance for Tower turn here, but he's in the puddles on the dry line. Through here, they both lift. Woods back in front, half a lap to go. Not even now as we come up to this Tower corner here for the final time tonight. Woods, he's up on the curb. Both of them struggling to find the traction as they run down the middle of the circuit here. And this is going all the way to the line.
He's going to have to park this thing as they go onto the straight. If Cody Deeth is going to have a go at him, he's going to have to park it here, let him go into the back of him. Or will he have... Oh, I think he's got himself enough margin now. Damon Woods, if this car coughs, Deethy can come through for the win here, but Damon Woods has done something on fuel, done something miraculous through the pit stop, got himself out in the front, and the last lap, he's led no laps at this stage, and the only lap he's going to lead is the one he's going to come through to the finish line.
He's short on fuel.
It's not over yet.
Here comes Deeth.
He's gone on fuel.
I don't think he's out yet, Aaron. I don't think he's out yet, but he had to roll it in to make sure he has enough for this run to the line.
Block him off.
45 minutes. One final run out of Sunset Bend. He's short. Here it comes. Cody Deeth will get it back at the line.
Wow.
The gamble does not pay off for Damon Woods. Jamie Christensen will make it home on the one stop to third. Matthew Boylett's got Marino Morella right up his gearbox, but the Dynamic Sim Sports driver will claim a top 4 finish here tonight in the feature. Morello jumps it. Maloney and Capel come through. There's Nicholson, Burse, and Beswick to round out your top 10. Last couple of fights include Sam Sproul and Stuart Ellis, along with O'Reilly and Cox as they navigate the last couple of corners. Lo and behold, I didn't think Woods had been saving fuel in that final stint, and he hadn't saved enough fuel. Cody Deeth keeps the streak alive.
I'm trying to find the difference in time between these two. Absolutely nothing between them. We're talking 2/10 as they cross the line. It was, it's unbelievable what we just watched there. Rain, the great equaliser, didn't equalise it that much. Damon Wood really did take it to him. I really thought he had it there. I knew it would cough. We both were saying it on the comms. There's no way you can get out in front in these cars. They all take about the same amount of fuel. So great effort from Damon Woods. He still came through for P2. Jamie Christensen, great effort to get up into P3. Jake Maloney, P6, started P18 that race. Massive achievement for him. I'm pretty sure he stayed out and got the thing to the end. Simon Cox was up a few positions. We kept an eye on him through that, rolled the dice, but I'll let you go through the top 10.
I wish we had positions gained here on the tower to sort of tell the story, but yeah, Cody Deeth and Damon Woods, they bring it home across the line as they started, but only just. There, Damon's gamble on fuel doesn't pay off for him in the end. Jamie Christensen, though, does make it on the one stop with the change from dry to wet tyres to bring it home in third place tonight. Matthew Boylett just a 10th ahead of Marino Morella to round out your top 5, and then not too far behind at all. Jake Maloney up 12 spots to P6. It actually was Matthew Boylett, I should add, as an addition, who gained the most places tonight from 20th to 4th in that feature. In behind Maloney, we jumped down to Lachlan Capel, the last of our cars in the top 10 that made it on one stop in 7th. And then Nicholson, Burse, and Beswick to round the 10 off with that splash of fuel just before the end of the race there, Aaron.
As we go through to this next 20, Todd was one of those guys that stayed out there only did one stop, got to P11. Not sure where he started there, but he had a really good race. Adam Hughes in P12 in the crisscross racing. The blackout guys there, Samuel Sproul, Dynamic Sim Sports representing there in P14 with Stuart Ellis. Jacob O'Reilly was in the wars. We kept on seeing him battling, struggling in the wet there. Came home in P15. He'll be happy with that. Simon Cox, massive gamble. Paid off anyway. He made some positions. Good points for him in the BMA entry. Hayden Sell, Hens was in it. I honestly thought he'd be up the front there. He had a massive spill, I think, with one of the drivers. I think Smith was one of the drivers he had contact with, so he put him down the back of the grid. Which is Zachary Smith behind him there as well. And Lobs Esports, we saw Brad Newman get tangled up there at the end of that race as well into P20.
The last couple of drivers across the line, unfortunately for them, bit of a rough night out for Caleb Hydes. They're the last of our Clips drivers on the order here tonight. Ahead of Ryan Houlihan there in 22nd. Zach Ratcho White and Chu Kang, unfortunately, coming unstuck. For Chu Kang in particular, several occasions for him, but does stay on the lead lap, as does Nathan Gardner, to round out your 25 finishers who stayed on the lead lap. Simon Chadwick there, lapped late in the piece. And then Dylan Shepherd and Seth Brown, your two drivers who didn't make it to the finish by the looks of things. And that is our results here at the end of the night. And, going going to bring in our interviews now for the post-race discussions. And, well, by the barest of margins, as it turned out for Cody Death, still, though, able to do it once again to keep the streak rolling. And when you come out of the pits there on that last lap, when you're a lap short on fuel and suddenly Damon's tried the gamble on going less fuel than you to make it home, how sure were you that he was probably going to struggle there towards the end to be able to keep his foot in it?
Well, I was talking to him, and he said he was a bit low on fuel when he came out. I had a bit of a brain fart in the fuel moment, so I didn't exactly get the most out of the pit stop. But I knew I knew he had just about the same amount of fuel as me, and I knew I couldn't make it on 2 liters. Like I could only make it on 3, and gamble paid off. Just staying on 3 liters.
I mean, for a couple of times there, I thought maybe just as you tried to get back up to speed and try and challenge him early in the lap, you'd just put yourself in the tiniest wrong spot to get it all done. But then all of a sudden you come off of a Le Mans corner onto the back straight for the final time, and Damon just had to start rolling there to have just enough fuel to try and challenge you to the line. But then in the end, it still wasn't quite enough. You're able to get past him there and keep it going. 8 races in this championship, 8 wins for you to keep that streak going here.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Just got to keep up the momentum. It seems to be going pretty good at the moment, so I just got to keep doing what I'm doing.
It's certainly working like a charm for you. And, well, we're taking one of these short breaks in the calendar. Come back in 2 weeks' time to continue the series for and cross the halfway mark. Round 5 will keep us here in America at Laguna Seca. Quite a different circuit, that's for sure. And no clue what that weather will be at this stage. So what do we think about just the general concept of GT3 going to be like around there for a 15:45 2-race format like we've seen here all season long so far?
I think it's going to be a pretty interesting. I know a lot of people probably haven't driven that track in quite a long time because it's not a very well used track on the service, but it'll be interesting to see how it goes and how the balanced performance is there.
Well, unfortunately, it will be a 2-week wait to find out, but nevertheless, we look forward all the same to doing it because, well, that's just about being our most exciting race to watch over here. Aaron, any quick questions for Cody before we hand off to wrap things up here
I don't
with
have
him
any
tonight?
quick questions. I just have an announcement to make to you, Cody Death. You are now the ring specialist. You've done
nice.
all the rings. You've done Sebring tonight. You did Nürburgring ring, Red Bull ring, Hockenheim ring. You're officially the ring man. So hope that sticks. That'll be a nickname for a little bit longer. And congratulations on the win, mate.
Yeah, thanks for that. It's pretty cool title there, I guess.
Yeah,
The ring.
I'm
ring
sure
mark.
it is. Oh, the boys won't hold it against you at all.
No, not at all. They're good lads. Good lads.
Enjoy your night, mate. Hey, give us a shout out too, mate. We know you've been on here enough times. Keep it rolling.
Yeah, cheers for that. Just like to thank Eclipse Esports and all the boys in there. Working hard, getting a bit of practice in before the race. 5-6 sim coaching, of course. Damon Woods, he's got a really good gig going over there. Thanks to parents, ANZ, Motorsport Australia, and all the sponsors back in the series. It's really well run at the moment, and hope to keep racing in it.
Well said, Cody. Thanks for joining us, mate. Go get some champagne. Enjoy your evening and have a good weekend, mate.
Thank you, guys. You too. Have a good one.
Well, let's get Damon Woods hopefully in here. Yes, Damon Woods. We said he was going to take it to the to Cody Death, and he almost did. Nearly getting him at the line there. But Damon Woods, what a race! You made it exciting for us. Thanks very much, mate.
Yeah, that was one of the closest and most eventful finishes I've had in a long time. Like, I underfueled a leader just to try and get in front of Cody, just to maybe give myself a chance at the victory. But yeah, fell short, unfortunately. Yeah, started coughing out of the last corner and tried to go for a cheeky block, but didn't give me enough of a push to get across the line. Or get across the line in front of him. So yeah, it was an exciting end to the race, and yeah, I was hoping we won't have to go for another stop because yeah, the pace was pretty good, and yeah, the rain really helped my situation. I was a fair way behind after the whole pit stops, so yeah, it was an eventful night, that's for sure.
Your pace after that pit stop, once you got past Simon Cox, You were rapid after that. There was 3 laps there that you were about 2 seconds quicker than Cody Deeth. I think he might have been saving fuel, possibly, trying to get to the end. I don't think you were saving fuel at all, Damon.
Saving fuel wasn't even on my cards. I think Cody definitely was saving fuel, for a couple laps to try it, to see how much he could save per lap. Yeah, it wasn't enough, and in that time I gained a heap of time on him, and then got right within a second of him, and probably would have thrown an absolute savage bomb on the last lap just to maybe give myself a prospect of winning. But it was, like I said, a very, very fun race, and those wet conditions really shake the entire field up. So very glad iRacing has brought the new weather system in. It's made has made for a different aspect of racing for sure.
Yeah, your where you were positioned in the car was a bit different to everyone else as well. So obviously you got your head around it, which is great. The racing tonight was fantastic. Not only from you and up the front there, but everyone through the paddock was some great racing to watch, and probably one that you'd probably want to rewatch a few times, especially with you guys at the front. Thanks for jumping on board, Damon. You're one of our wild cards. We might see you in the future.
Oh, well, if I can make all the rounds in the future, I mean, it was unfortunate. I'd planned to do the entire series, but the Saturday night clashes really screwed with the real life schedule. So the last 4 rounds I've been at a racetrack each one. So it's made it a bit annoying. So I wanted to commit to the series, but definitely for the future rounds I'll be able to definitely hop on board and have a crack.
I'm looking forward to seeing you there and taking it to the ring specialist, we're calling him now, Cody Deeth, for remaining of the series. Mate, give us a shout out while you're on here. You've got the world in front of the big stick now.
Just like to thank the boys at Door Esports, VRS for all their support as well, Recaro Seats, JBL, Tailored Rig, Rema Sportswear, SX Group, and also want to plug my coaching, 5-6 sim coaching. So we're on the Eclipse cars as well, and I think on Simon Cox's car as well. So done a bit of work with him, and if anyone wants some coaching, give us a look on Facebook and be able to sort you out.
Or a cheeky little plug, I like that. It was the second time we've heard the 5-6 coaching be mentioned tonight. So thanks, Damon Woods. I look forward to seeing you again, and probably going to see you in the commentary box again as well. So thanks for racing, mate.
Thank you. Have a good night.
We might bring in Jamie Christensen, because I bet you he is super excited at the moment, sitting outside in the rain. He's probably wet as hell right now, because there's only enough room in here for just me and you, Dan, normally. I'll let you take the interview with Jamie, because I already know what he's going to say.
Well, I should hear that one indeed then. But congratulations, Jamie. First time, I think, for the season on the podium here in the ANZ Series GT3 National Championship, and came out as the first car to make it home on the one stopper with that change from dry tyres to wet, whereas a couple of cars around you couldn't make it on fuel. Just in that first question, how tight was it for you there in the Vermilion Ferrari?
It actually wasn't that tight on fuel, because I was burning a lot less fuel in the wet than I would in the dry, but I saw that I could save maybe like 4 litres, 10 laps before the end of the race. So I tried it, and I think a few of the other boys tried it as well, and it all worked for us. So I think I ended the race with a litre extra than I should have.
Well, interesting to note that one. Looking at the pit stops, a lot of cars, but you split about half and half of field versus field didn't pit versus field who did pit. And I mean, because we heard from the top two that, well, for Damon Woods, he didn't think about fuel saving. For Deeth, he ended up just a tiny bit short of making it home. So interesting to know, you said you had no concerns about making it home with the fuel burn that you were running out there in those wet conditions. But to be honest, in that feature race there, for us, it was sort of a bit of a quiet drive for you, even though you came up from P7. What was it like there working through the pack as the rain started coming down?
Well, at the start on the wet tyres when they're pretty cold, it's not really that fun in the Ferrari. It's the TC doesn't really work in it, so it's pretty scary. But once the tyres got pretty warm, it was just getting used to the Ferrari in the wet.
Yeah, we did see a couple of times, the torquey engine that this thing has, thanks to being turbocharged and the like, definitely makes it a bit of a handful even in the lower, and just trying to drive it out of the lower speed stuff. So, that certainly sounds about right to be expected, but worked out pretty good indeed for you there in the end. But series takes a week off. We come back in 2 weeks' time. Laguna Seca is our next place of action for this series. What do you think that's going to look like for the field once we get around to that one? They're a bit smaller, a bit more twisty, and going to reward drivers who can really find some stuff in the corners there.
Well, I'm expecting every Ferrari and every Mercedes, or just Jake Maloney, to be at the back, just off the fact that it's all corners, no straights.
Yeah, it's exactly right. He's got a point there. There's we did bring up the fact that balance of performance might be a bigger issue when it comes to that track, but only time will tell. I mean, the Hymo setups that are there at the moment are bloody good. So we always have different manufacturers up there in the top 10. So I don't know. Time will tell. Don't count your chickens yet, mate. I think you'll have some sort of shot. Just want to talk to you, Jamie. That result might actually put you up into P3 in the championship, possibly. I'm not quite sure, but it's going to be very, very tight there. You're about 110 points behind Zach Rattray-White, another teammate of yours. But a good effort tonight, mate. It was a really good racing.
Yeah, thank you. He didn't really have the greatest of starts into the second race. I'm pretty sure he had an incident at the start, so that would have helped for the points.
Exactly right, but you got to be in there. You got to have your nose clean to win these races, and you almost did it, mate. You had a leader left. You might have been able to push it just a little bit further to get in front of those pit stops. But great racing from you. Great result from the Vermilion team as well. Give us a shout out, mate, before we chuck you out of this commentary box back into the rain.
Well, I'd like to thank all the boys at Vermilion Motorsports and Doing OK Motorsports. You know, they merged recently, so that's pretty cool. Also, Hymo Setups for providing setups for this series, and Vermilion Coaching, which is new from Ben Faulkner. It's pretty nice. And Berling Motor Group, Race Lab Overlays, Burb Designs, Supernova Motorsports, Moser Racing, Hymo Setups, and Whitey Spies.
Well said, Jamie. Thanks for racing. See you in a couple of weeks' time. Maybe do some laps around there so you have some sort of edge when it comes to Laguna. Enjoy your night, mate.
Yeah, thank you. Go the Warriors.
Hey Dan, the racing tonight, mate. It has a couple of lows, but geez, it had some highs. The racing was spectacular, right to the end.
I mean, yeah, things got a bit crazy there to kick the feature off, but a couple of drivers able to make their way through, and then the rain, as it came on down, splitting the strategy there by a couple of laps for some drivers. And Simon Cox, unfortunately, in the end, only made up 3 spots with the alternate gamble. Started 19th, finished in 16th here tonight, so it didn't quite work out the way I think he would have hoped. But yeah, that's it for tonight. We come back in 2 weeks' time to continue the championship and go for our next double header, with Laguna Seca being the first of the tracks on that back-to-back as we come through the middle of this American leg here in the ANZ Series GT3 National Championship. Well, if that's all said and done, Aaron, I think in that case we might just call it there for the night. And I just want to say big thanks to everyone who's been watching along with us here across all of the platforms, be it SimSpeed or Motorsport Australia. Hope you've enjoyed the racing. Hope you look forward to round number 5 when we get back in action on the 20th of April. Do note the time zone change to Australian Eastern Standard Time from daylight time. Well, that's if you're here from a southeastern state, that is at least. It'll technically be actually it'll be the same time, won't it? Or will it change slightly because of that? Anyways. We're changing times,
and we are changing times.
Yeah, so there you go. If you're like me and you come from Victoria, for example, and actually same thing with Jay Kennedy, 1 hour earlier is when. How about that? Like, you can even pay attention and put it back up on screen. I really should look at that number perhaps, but that'll do us for tonight, Aaron. Any closing words from you to end things here tonight? I just want to
give a huge thanks to our sponsors. I didn't get through that tonight. We had Hymo that does all the setups for us. Burnley Motor Group, everyone's going to be hitting him up because there's a lot of carnage out there. Everyone needs a new car. Trophy Hub, look forward to seeing those trophies at the end of this season. First Take Photography, they've jumped on board with us as well. Based in WA, hit them up as well if you need some photography done. Motorsport Australia, thank you. You guys have been fantastic. And if you want the best overlays, go to Race Labs Overlays. I should say Race Labs. I'm not allowed to say overlays. Thank you for spending your Saturday night with us, guys, and spending your time with us gibberers. You've been watching the 2024 ANZ GT3 National Championship. From Dan, Jay, and myself, massive thank you for your support, and look forward to seeing you next round at Laguna Seca. Toodles!